struggling San Antonio Spurs, an 0-3 start with Jim Peterson, Tom Hanneman back courtside at Target Center. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by your Northland Ford dealers. In the front court for San Antonio, Bowen, Bonner, and Duncan. And the guard positions, it's Finley and Parker. Greg Popovich, maybe sporting a new look. He's the same remarkable coach that has led the Spurs to 4 NBA titles in his 11 full seasons at the helm in San Antonio. We'll have the Wolves starting lineups in a moment, but we're underway tonight downtown Minneapolis. It is great to have you with us. San Antonio comes in without a win, 0-3. He lost last night at home to Dallas, 98-81. Tim Duncan misses his first shot.
Last time that happened was what, 1932? They started out 0-3. It seemed like a long time since the San Antonio Spurs.
35 years to be exact. They were part of the ABA at the time, so this is the longest opening season losing streak in their NBA tenure.
One thing you know about the San Antonio Spurs being a veteran team, you don't get overly anxious about starting 0-3, first of all, because they know they can win 15 out of 16, do that kind of thing. But this is going to be a playoff-type game for the San Antonio Spurs. They do not want to go 0-4. Greg Popovich is, I'm sure, rubbed them the riot act. They played last night in San Antonio against the Dallas Mavericks, as you mentioned.
First turnover of the night. The Spurs, who have committed the fewest so far this season. Al Jefferson drawing Tim Duncan and others as we look at our Northland Ford lineup, starting lineup for the Timberwolves tonight. Brewer, Jefferson, and Gomes. And in the backcourt, Mike Miller and Randy Foye. Two guys, as we talked about in the open, trying to find their shot. Randy Foye has been really challenged everywhere, and Mike Miller is, well, only put up the 1 3 so far in 8 attempts.
Randy Foye's just happy he doesn't have to mess with Tony Parker and all those pick-and-roll situations. That duty's going to fall on Corey Brewer. They're going to call traveling on Bruce Bowen. You see how things break down for San Antonio. Without Manu Ginobili, obviously 6-man comes off the bench, but plays starters minutes. Not having that dynamic guy to also complement Parker and Duncan is a big thing. Fabricio Alberto is, sidelined a little bit early this season with an irregular heartbeat. Played some minutes last night,
but was ineffective last night. Mike Miller missing everything there. So there are some reasons, I think, that the Spurs have started the way they have. Tony Parker has been sensational, along with Duncan, both averaging 26 points a game. Brewer runs into Michael Finley.
The difficulty for Corey Brewer is the fact that obviously Tony Parker is not guarding him. He's got to find Tony Parker in a cross-checking type of situation. That's always difficult for a player that, if you're on different sides of the floor, to have to acquire someone as fast as Tony Parker. So that's going to be a challenge for Corey Brewer, but I think he can do it. He's fast enough. And Bruce Bowen's a guy that has always had to contend with that. They put him on tough point guards in the Western Conference, so this is a great challenge for Corey Brewer.
Both teams have turned it over twice here in the opening couple minutes. Timberwolves ball. Well, until their opening night loss last week, Tim Duncan had never lost an opener in the NBA. Last night was an ugly, ugly loss for San Antonio. They were just massacred on the boards. The Mavericks, for the first time this season, beat a team in rebounding, and it's the type of effort that turns a coach's hair white.
That beard that Greg Popovich is growing they're on rent right now. Randy Foye can't knock down that shot, but it's only there as long as Tim Duncan says it's there. Once Tim Duncan says, "Pop, it's time to shave it," it's going to be gone.
Wolves have missed their first 4 shots tonight, and San Antonio's hit 1 of 4.
This is the thing that Minnesota's had to get rid of, is these long stretches without making shots. 5-6 shots in a row.
Ryan Gomes gives it a try.
And this has been the problem with the Wolves since the beginning of the season. They'll come out and they'll miss 5-6 shots in a row, and obviously San Antonio hasn't pulled away here, but still, you're missing an opportunity.
Bonner held out defensively by Gomes. Moved around to Tony Parker. Launches from the middle, that won't drop. Rebound, Mike Miller dives for the loose ball and gets it over to Randy Foye. Good hustle play early by Miller. Jefferson lines it up, no. 6 consecutive misses by Minnesota to open the game. The Spurs 1 of 5. Duncan one-on-one, slapped away by Al Jefferson. Brewer can't lay it in. We saw a lot of this against Oklahoma City, and it continues, unfortunately, early on tonight. All 5 starters have missed at least one shot. The Wolves have not hit their first 7. Duncan, short.
Not exactly a barn burner yet, but the good news is the Wolves haven't gotten hurt.
Team's not in the 4 corners, but it may look like it by the end of the first quarter. Mike Miller for 3. Yes!
There you go. That's a perfect drawn kick situation right there. Randy Foy drives the seam. The defense comes off him for some reason. I'm sure Greg Popovich is not happy with the defender coming off of Mike Miller.
Miller top 10 in the NBA last season at 42% from 3. He had hit just 1 of his first 8. And Tony Parker with the little English gets it to drop. Miller again. Got the hot hand.
There you go.
2 in a row, and Mike Miller hoping to break through out of an early season shooting slump. At least from long range he has been.
This is the kind of game that you can get a breakout game from both Foy and Miller. I really think that when you play against a good team like this, it gets those competitive juices flowing.
Tony Parker isolated on the wing. Corey Brewer's there, but not in time.
Tony Parker 6, Minnesota 5. And they've had to have these big scoring nights from Tony Parker and from Tim Duncan in order to be competitive. They have not replaced all those great role players they've had. Mike Miller, he checked that time. Francisco Elson's gone. Brett Berry's gone. Robert Ory's gone. Parker again.
Sneaky underneath as he slips it through.
And that's one of those things where Tony Parker knows he's got a bigger guy on him that not necessarily can stick with him. At some point, he's going to say, you might want to put a point guard on me, Coach Whitman.
Parker, all 8 points for the Spurs early on. Miller dumps it to Gomes. The fadeaway short. San Antonio trying to break through on the road. And Greg Popovich will call the timeout midway through the opening quarter. And a game that couldn't shoot straight. Both teams really struggling, with the exception of Tony Parker and that man, Mike Miller.
Wolves Weekly, after Quest Wolves Live.
The Great Gladiators Pit, where teeth gnash and tall, sweaty men wear shorts. And here are the keys that could allow you to feast your eyes on glorious sights. The Timberwolves star-studded six-pack. Oh, great edifice, tell us your secrets. Tell us your secrets. Order a six-pack at Timberwolves.com.
The DNA is just, that's just bananas. Actually, like a living organism. It's DNA in a video game. It's like a computer that can talk and learn and stuff. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh, man. It automatically tracks the stats of the players, the injuries, the hot streaks. I don't know who thought about it, but he was a genius, man. It updates every day. Like, that's bananas, man.
Rated E for everyone. Now $1.99.
You're watching Fox Sports North.
Tom, we got something a little new this year, a little power forward profile. Let's talk about some of the similarities and differences. Tim Duncan, great at that 15-footer. They both like the left box post up, and that's one thing when you look at Al Jefferson and Tim Duncan, they like to go left box. They also like to turn left shoulder and shoot that right-handed jump hook, and they really play very similarly. They're also tremendous rebounders. I mean, these guys get after it on the offensive glass. Tim Duncan, Al Jefferson, both great at second effort. The other thing about these two guys is not only do they have the basic move, which is the right-hand jump hook on the left box top, they've got counter moves on top of counter moves. Now, Al is a little bit quicker, uses that pump fake more, quick spin moves. Duncan a little more methodical, more powerful. You see the numbers for these two guys. Duncan last year, 19 points, 11 rebounds. Al Jefferson, he was a 2010 guy as well. Tim Duncan, for his career, has done serious damage. Now, hasn't had to score as much the last 4 years with Ginobili and Parker taking some of the scoring role. But, boy, this is a fun matchup to watch. Corey Brewer gets a block against Tony Parker.
Our MoneyGram power forward profile.
I like it. The power forward profile.
Yeah.
It's a great position. Best position on the floor, in my mind.
Well, I wonder why you would say that.
So many great fours in the Western Conference. Tim Duncan, Al Jefferson. What are they? I mean, are they centers or are they power forwards? They're kind of that hybrid sort of power forward center.
Tonight's game on FSN is also being presented in high definition. For a complete listing of FSN HD cable providers, go to foxsports.com, keyword North.
When you talk about footwork, the two names that come up immediately is Tim Duncan and Al Jefferson in the NBA right now. Those two are impeccable.
Mike Miller gets the roll.
Now Kevin Love's going to get a healthy dose of Tim Duncan. I'm sure this is one of those reality checks for him. He is to be on the same court as one of his heroes, Tim Duncan. I know it was for me the first time I was on the floor with Abdul-Jabbar and Moses Malone and those kind of names, but it's always surreal the first time you play against somebody that you've always admired. It's an out-of-body experience.
I remember last year, our first instructional with you, I was in great awe.
I don't blame you for that. I mean, you're amongst giants on the floor, literally and figuratively.
3-second violation is whistled. So Tony Parker has all of the Spurs' first 8 points. And for the Timberwolves, it's Mike Miller with all of the 7 Timberwolves points. Parker, the two-time All-Star, 2007 Finals MVP. Kurt Thomas, who was scoreless last night in 12 minutes, didn't have a point or a rebound, as Tim Duncan takes a seat for the first time. Finley moves to the middle, fires away, won't go. The Spurs 33% from the floor, the Timberwolves 23. Miller into the hands of Kevin Love, and Kevin goes right to work.
Well, he's not going to get the left box, so he better get used to posting up on the right box when he plays with Al Jefferson, and that's a good move. With a grab dribble into the paint, drop step jump hook, very efficient move by Kevin Love.
Roger Mason has checked in. Mason, the third leading scorer for the Spurs early on. Did everything but drop for Tony Parker. Al Jefferson has his 4th rebound tonight. Mike Miller wants the basketball. Left alone momentarily. You don't want to do that.
Go ahead, Mike Miller.
Miller with another 3. His 2nd tonight. And he's got 10 points.
Mike Miller 10. Tony Parker 9. Roger Mason Jr. knocking down the jump shot. That's what he does best. We saw Roger Mason Jr. last year as a member of the Washington Wizards decimate Minnesota. Had 17 in that game in Washington.
Miller, deep 3. Off the rim that time. Mason, 28 years of age in his 5th NBA season. Kicked out underneath to Finley. Parker did a great job getting the basketball to him.
Al hasn't scored yet, but he does have 5 rebounds. He's cleaning that defensive glass.
Quick pace here in the opening quarter. Both teams struggling. In terms of shooting out Jefferson, that almost always goes in. The slippery eel. Mason misfires. Both teams shooting around 30%. And Randy Woodman will call the timeout. 2:46 remaining in the opening quarter. And the Timberwolves on top of the Spurs looking for their first win of the season tonight.
Something sure sells good. Carsoup.com, of course. Nothing sells the way Car Soup sells. Simply add your fresh ingredient, whatever it is, include photos, descriptions. You'll find lots of local buyers looking for what you're selling, and only $25 until it sells. Buying? Well then, savor the selection. Buy, research, sell. Carsoup.com. It sure sells great.
I love my wife, even if she is a little misguided.
Purple rules.
Well, we both enjoy football, so there's that.
And going to Grand Casino.
Yeah, and last year we won kind of big.
We decided we were going to buy a big screen TV so that we could watch all of the games.
Only she wanted to put it in the living room.
He wanted to put it downstairs.
But we won big, so we figured, what the heck, we bought two.
His and hers. We're the Sajelskis, and that's our Grand Casino story.
The Mille Band of Ojibwe welcomes you.
That's awesome.
Very attractive.
I love it. Lots of room back there in the back. Yeah, it's got all kinds of room in it, man. We drove it down a huge mountain. It's still as smooth as can be. Loads of power.
Hemi, top of the line.
Can't even feel the trailer back there.
Go, 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 go.
Timberwolves on top here in the first quarter. What are the key components on the court tonight? Jim Peterson has our Jeep game plan.
Well, a little bit late on this one. Keep Tony Parker out of the paint is the first one.
Well, we can still do it from this point on.
And that's going to be the job of Corey Brewer, obviously, and others, too, when Corey goes and sits down. I think you got to relax and have fun, and, you know, that's the main thing. And Mike Miller certainly has done that here early on. He's been relaxing to the tune of 10 points here early on. And for the San Antonio Spurs, I think what you got to do, Tom, in terms of game plan is get the ball at Al Jefferson's hands. And, you know, that's the main thing that we're seeing now more often, where teams are staying and sitting in his lap more often. And the role players must step up. And for San Antonio, their role players are not as good as they used to be. Guys like Roger Mason Jr. and Kirk Thomas, they need to step up and play better. And even guys like Michael Finley, they need him to step up. Roger Mason Jr. was brought here to score the basketball from the perimeter. Ime Udoka, the same thing. He's a guy that came from Portland. They thought he was going to be the replacement for Robert Horry. He still may be, but Ime does not score the basketball as well as Robert Horry.
Miller takes it in.
Miller's having a whale of a game, and this is, as I said at the beginning of the game, this is one of those games where I really felt Mike Miller could have a breakout-type season, breakout-type game. Kevin Love's going to be called for the foul, hooking Fabrizio Alberto in the painted area in the early offense.
And look who is checked in for the first time this season. And actually, you have to go back to last March 7th, the last game, regular season game, Sebastian Telfair was involved with. He sprained his ankle in San Antonio in the 7th, was done for the year, and then suspended the first 3 games this year. Miller's basket a moment ago, the first 2 points in the paint for the Timberwolves tonight, down 6-2 in that category.
Kevin Love's foul was the first foul of the ball game. This one now the second. So even though the game hasn't been that well played from a shooting perspective, it's been clean in terms of violations.
Well, Roger Mason is the subject of tonight's Chrysler scouting report.
He's a solid combo guard. I mean, he's a guy that can play the point, but he's better off at the 2 guard. That's where he's going to play in the San Antonio system for the most part. Excellent jump shooter, 3-point specialist, 130 makes last year out of 327 attempts, almost 40%. So he's also a very good free thrower. Tom, this guy shoots 87% from the line.
Kevin Love in a crowd, that time no. The Spurs had targeted Corey Maggette, but Mason obviously a lot less expensive. 2 years, $7.3 million.
Think about Roger Mason. He was really helped last year by the injury of Gilbert Arenas. Obviously, you don't like injuries, but it's it's one of the things that can help you as a player is to get all those minutes they got once Arenas went down.
Corey Brewer offline that time. And it's San Antonio basketball. Kevin Love and Tony Parker went after it. Now they'll confer about it. And Tony says, that's easy. I touched it. He touched it afterwards. Well, it's easy if you agree with it.
Derek Stafford overruled Curtis Blair that time. Derek Stafford saw it clearly. One of those bang-bang plays that if you see it, it's very difficult to judge, but these referees are so good.
90 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. Alberto back to Parker, left alone from the perimeter, and Tony Parker's got a three.
And that's been the thing, you know, working with Chip England, their assistant coach, on shooting. Tony Parker completely changed his shot, something that a lot of people don't think you could necessarily do, but he's done it.
Craig Smith banging inside, draws the contact. Tony Parker's second three of the season. The Timberwolves in the 88-85 loss to the Thunder Sunday night were perfect at the free throw line, 16 of 16. First perfect night since February of 2007. Every Wednesday home game this season is Dollar Dog Night. Go to Timberwolves.com for more information and to purchase tickets.
This is going to be interesting now to see Kurt Thomas and Tim Duncan work against Kevin Love and Craig Smith. George Hill checking into the ball game for the San Antonio Spurs. He went to a university I've never even heard of before. Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis.
Yep.
First player in the history of the NBA to be from that university. Very proud of Indianapolis to have him here in the NBA with the San Antonio Spurs.
Great high school player, city of Indianapolis. Led the state in scoring, over 36 a game. Duncan going to work on the rookie. In the lane, and Kevin Love denies him. Grabs the rebound. Telfair trying to break down Hill.
George Hill with the hand check. Tony Parker, Minnesota able to match up now more traditionally. Point guards matching up with point guards, two number threes. George Hill, Sebastian Telfair. Telfair's quickness, his speed has been one thing Minnesota's sorely lacked. And, you know, it answers the question as to, even though Kevin Ollie did a great job, Tom, playing the backup position behind Randy Foyt, once Telfair came back, who was going to get those minutes? Randy Whitman puts that to rest right away in the first game, brings Telfair in right away.
Sebastian, a career performance last year, averaged a little over 9 points, about 6 assists, and shot 40% from the field. He was 10th in the NBA in assist to turnover ratio at 3.2 to 1.
Sebastian still only 23 years old. One of the youngest teams in the NBA.
And smiling ear to ear when I chatted with him
yes, he was
tonight about coming in.
And at shoot around today when we chatted with him as well.
Duncan off target. Kurt Thomas has the rebound and a fresh 24 for the Spurs.
Minnesota has a foul here to give at the end of the quarter. And 2 team fouls for Minnesota.
Mason working the clock down. He'll make his move, and Rashad McCants reaching in to foul him.
Roger Mason Jr. is a great shooter both from the free throw line and from the perimeter, but he's not a guy that gets to the free throw line very often. Doesn't shoot many free throws at all. I mean, you look at the fact that in 4 years he's only been to the line 112 times coming into this game. He has made 98 of them, but he's not a guy that puts the ball on the floor and goes to the hole.
When you're that accurate, I'm sure Greg Popovich would like to see him go to the line more often. Tony Parker, that one knocked away by Mike Miller, who grimaces as the bullet pass flies out of bounds. 2.2 seconds left in the quarter. Randy Foy inserted into the lineup. Mason splits the defense, knocked away by Kevin Love. So the rookie rises up for the rejection. And the Timberwolves and Spurs are tied at 18. Both teams struggling from the field, 30%.
Wolves Weekly is It's your courtside ticket to the Wolves. Join host Telly Hughes for the inside scoop on the latest news, behind-the-scenes access, and special features celebrating the Wolves' 20th season. Wolves Weekly, after Quest Wolves Live.
At Menards, we'll help you to select top-quality products to improve your home. Add style underfoot with Shaw Carpet. Right now, all carpet is 18% off. Choose from Berbers, plushes, frisés, sculptures, level loops, and more. Over 5,000 style and color combinations available. All Frigidaire washers and dryers are on sale. This extra-large capacity front-load washer is only $479. This king-size capacity model is only $599.
Save big money at Menards.
Ford Truck Month has been extended through November 18th. Get up to $7,500 cash back on select Ford F-150 and Super Duty pickups. These are America's #1 selling trucks. And now up to $7,500 cash back. The most towing, the most payload, and Ford Credit financing to help you drive one. Ford Credit is ready to help you buy or lease a Ford vehicle today, just as they have been for the past 50 years. See your local Northland Ford dealer today.
Hi, can I talk to Cash?
Cash doesn't live here.
When you see Cash, just tell him that he owes Allie and Tucker $1,600 in child support.
Wednesday on an all-new Friday Night Lights.
You accept this kid, the team is going to accept him. I'm asking for your help.
McCoy, get in.
Have a drink, man. This is a party.
Wednesday, all new, only on Channel 101, exclusively on DirecTV.
No matter where you live, NHL Center Ice on DirecTV makes every game a home game. It's hockey like you've never seen it before. Up to 40 games a week of intense NHL action, with more games than ever in crystal clear HD. Follow your favorite teams and your favorite players. Just 4 payments of $42.25. NHL Center Ice on DirecTV. To order, call 1-800-GET-SPORTS or visit directtv.com/NHL today.
Friday at 6:30, the Gophers battle New Hampshire on Fox Sports North.
Tim Duncan scoreless so far, has missed his first 3 shots, trying to carry on without Manu Ginobili, who had left ankle surgery. They expect him to return in mid-December, although knowing Greg Popovich, it'll probably be the first of the year before he's back. Manu was the Spurs leading scorer in all 4 games, all 4 wins last season against the Timberwolves. Had a season-high 44 points and hit the game-winning shot back on February 21st. So a big piece missing for the Spurs, and one of the reasons they've struggled a little bit in the opening 3 games. They've been really thin in the front court as well, with Oberto, as we talked about, missing a couple games. Telfair pulls the trigger and misfires.
George Hill played well last night against Dallas, had 11 points in that ball game for San Antonio.
Thomas defers to Hill. Plenty of time. George Hill off target.
He was picked 26th pick of the NBA draft this year, so San Antonio's had a great history of picking those guys up. Craig Smith.
What a pass inside to Craig.
Oh man, Randy Foy puts it on the money to a rolling Craig Smith.
4th assist tonight by Foy. He's only taken 1 shot, but he's doing all the other little things, which is what you do when the shot's not dropping. Udoka on the baseline. Ime Udoka missed all 4 shots last night, finished with just 1 point. And a very tough loss to the Mavericks. The Spurs were down 18 points at the half in that game. Telfair on the money that time, and Sebastian on the board. Buries that one. It's a 2.
That's what he can do. He can flat out shoot the basketball. If they brought him here to buoy their offense, certainly will do that in a 6-man role.
7 of 10 from 3-point range so far as Roger Mason, as the Timberwolves turn it over by traveling.
How do you help your team in other ways than just scoring, Tom? As you mentioned, pick and roll situation. Craig Smith rolls right into the perfect seam right there. Duncan giving support, but really is in kind of no man's land. Isn't acquiring Foy, didn't stay close to Smith. 2 points from Minnesota.
Duncan on Kevin Love. Timmy turns right into him off the glass, won't go. Kevin Love holding on against the future Hall of Famer. Rashad McCants sticks it. Shotty had a tough shooting night in Oklahoma City. Most of the Timberwolves did. 1 of 6. But he's hit his first tonight.
How sweet was that move, though? Beautiful technique by Rashad McCants. Great elevation on that shot, too.
Mason again. And Foy goes down after contesting the shot. He's all right, back up.
Good decision by McCants to pull that one out. Spurs had 3 guys back, only 2 Minnesota players in transition.
Craig Smith pounded the basket and the foul. Kurt Thomas there defensively will pick it up.
Ultimately, I'd like to see, amongst the 5 and 4 position, a 3-man rotation. So you have 2 starters, obviously, and a guy that comes from the bench. The guys you can be multi-talented and switch around. But it's evident so far that Love and Craig Smith have been able to play together. And so you've got really 2 quality front lines. You've got the Gomes and Jefferson duo, and you've got Smith and Love, who both are complementing both Gomes and Jefferson. So obviously the matchup determines who plays, but Love and Smith are getting a little bit of an identity together, aren't they, Tom?
Some of the emerging, I think, relationships between players is different individuals trying to figure out a way to work. Duncan with the elbow, and Kevin Love is there. Love contesting the shot again. Kevin Love standing up to Tim Duncan.
Who says he can't play on the inside? Who says he can't block? That's about his 3rd block of the game.
Smith battling inside. Kevin Love. An impressive performance early on for the 20-year-old rookie. Dealing with greatness, and Tim Duncan will step aside.
Imagine being trapped in an elevator for more than 2 days. Like a caged animal, you pace for hours. You scream, but no one hears you. You slowly lose your mind. It happened to David Clark.
David, what was that like?
It was like waiting for the cable guy.
Don't get trapped by cable. Switch to Quest and get a 30-day risk-free guarantee. Just call, click, or come in and get in the loop with Quest.
We were stranded on the tarmac on a plane with no food, no water, and a broken bathroom for 11 hours.
It was horrible, you can't imagine. Absolutely trapped with no way to get out. I mean, first they tell you one time, and then that passes, and then they tell you another, and there's nothing you can do.
Nothing. It was like waiting for the cable guy.
Oh, wasn't that bad? Well.
Don't get trapped by cable. Switch to Quest high-speed internet. Just call, click, or come in and get in the loop with Quest.
Ah, that new car soup smell. Savor the perfect ingredients. Local dealers fully stocked. All the new makes and models, whatever you're looking for. Stir in local deals, new and used. That's some great soup. Buy, research, smell. Carsoup.com.
The Great Gladiators Pit, where teeth gnash and tall, sweaty men wear shorts. And here are the keys that could allow you to feast your eyes on glorious sights. The Timberwolves star-studded 6-pack. Oh, great edifice, tell us your secrets. Tell us your secrets. Order a 6-pack at Timberwolves.com.
Minnesota Timberwolves basketball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Dodge. Live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge, grab life. And by Grand Casino. Grand Casino Mille Lacs, Grand Casino Hinckley. What's your Grand Casino story?
Well, there was some question whether or not Kevin Love could play defense against the top post players in the NBA. Watch the left box post up, grab dribble into the paint. Kevin Love, really, this is one of those situations you put your hands straight up, hope he misses. Tim Duncan does miss on that one. Watch the right elbow of Duncan right in the throat of Love. Sticks with it, stays with it, blocks the shot. The second effort of Kevin Love, tremendous here against one of his heroes, Tim Duncan. It's fun. Tim Duncan gives him a little congratulations. That's what the great ones do.
Absolutely.
They understand and recognize competitive nature. Love the move by Tim Duncan right there to give Kevin Love a slap on the chest. Nice job, big fella.
Some consider Duncan the best power forward of all time. Certainly in the conversation.
Well, Kevin McHale and Karl Malone might have something to say to that, but definitely there. The championships speak for themselves.
Kevin Love for three. Yes! Love doing it all at both ends of the court tonight.
Never forget the time that I blocked one of Dr. J's dunks in an exhibition game and knocked me to the floor, and Dr. J reached down, picked me up from the floor and said, "Nice block, big fella." It was a surreal moment. But Kevin Love, playing defensively, playing strong, knocks down the J there. See it again, coming in the back flow, in transition, knocks it down. A little bit of a slow release point. You know, he'll have to quicken that up in order to get it off in traffic, but he's confident, and it's good to see him knock down that perimeter J.
And he's having a ton of fun tonight. Minnesota's bench in many ways carrying, and he sees the classic connection. You can bank on it. Tim Duncan off the glass.
See, that's a perfect example of the methodical nature of Tim Duncan versus Al Jefferson. Timmy is just so good at that 15-footer from that angle.
Duncan's first mate in 7 attempts, and Rashad McCants answers. The bench now 7 of 9, and they've accounted for 19 of Minnesota's 32 points.
This has been a trend too this season so far. The bench coming in doing some work.
Udoka patient as McCants sails by. The Timberwolves starters, other than Miller, 0 for 10 and scoreless. Ball out of bounds.
Al's lucky right there. Alberto makes that basket cut to the hole. Al and Kevin Love mixed up as who's guarding who. Al let Alberto cut right to the hole, but it gets kicked.
Alberto through some scary stuff last year as well. Went through this regular heartbeat while he was in the weight room. Hill, great defense. Telfair will wait for options.
This is a good combination too at the guard position. Foy can play the off guard now, being guarded by George Hill, the rookie. Telfair can handle the rock. Foy can play off the ball.
And Telfair battling together. And Al Jefferson, his first make tonight in 5 attempts. And the Timberwolves have their largest lead. The first make by someone other than Mike Miller in the starting 5 for the Wolves. Duncan and Timmy not happy about no call there. Foy lines up the long ball. Won't go, but it's tapped in by Al Jefferson. Right place, right time for big Al Jefferson. Now with 4 points and 8 rebounds, and the Timberwolves have an 8-point lead. And the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs struggling to begin the season, and the Timberwolves battling them tough tonight.
Halftime Live, coming up next on Fox Sports North.
That's crazy, man.
Hundreds of financing options are now available at your Jeep dealer today.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Man.
Let's do it.
You can't script this chemistry. Let's go.
Let's do it. Oh, butter, baby.
Stop that.
Butter, margarine, peanut butter and jelly. Step it up, baby. Step it up. And one. We believe. We believe.
Charge. Let's go.
Take the charge. We running. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me, baby. That's me. That's me. Rated E for everyone.
Now $1.99.
watching Fox Sports North.
Welcome back to the Target Center, where the Minnesota Timberwolves lead the San Antonio Spurs 36-28 here in the second quarter. Big Al has spent the better part of this first half guarding the future Hall of Famer Tim Duncan, and if you ask Big Al, he wouldn't have it any other way.
You know, you just got to be prepared for anything with Tim Duncan. You know, he's a smart player, been around a long time, and you know, I even told Coach to let me guard him. You know, because it just ain't gonna do nothing to make me a better player, a better defensive player, and I just had to step up to the challenge.
Al has really stepped up when he has faced some of the bigger names in the NBA. So far, the two have only have a bucket apiece, but I'm pretty sure, guys, that's going to change here before this game is all said and done.
I think you can count on it, Telly. Thanks so much. What says a lot about Al Jefferson when you pick people you admire, pick great ones, and he certainly has. And Tim Duncan, who gets the roll that time.
See, that's the difference between Al and Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan can come out to that free throw line and knock that jump shot down with great efficiency. He's done it his whole career.
McCants got a three.
Good thing right there. Shot, he catches with a feet set. When he gets his feet set, he's deadly.
Timberwolves bench has outscored San Antonio's reserves 23-13 now. After that three-point shot, the Wolves 4 of 7 from long range. Duncan misfires. Kevin Love has the rebound. Timberwolves have struggled in shooting, especially the long ball. 28th of 30 teams in the NBA coming in tonight at just 20%.
That's a right box post up. Al's not as comfortable on that right box. He would much rather be on that left box than he's there. Doesn't like being there. Timmy's a little more ambidextrous. He likes the left box, but you can put him on either one.
Telfair comes in, knocks the ball away momentarily, but hey, Tim Duncan is a cool customer, and he recovers perfectly.
The reason why big guys usually like to be on that left box is that, you know, most guys have that right-hand jump hook, and it allows you to go to the middle of the floor and play to your strength versus the right box, which if you use right-hand jump hook, you're going on that baseline, not as high percentage of a shot. There you go, Randy Foy.
Finds the open area of the court in close. And Randy Foy hits his first of the night. Foy has 4 assists and 3 rebounds as well.
As does Sebastian Telfair. Telfair is going to foul Tony Parker here, but both Foy and Telfair with 4 assists, 0 turnovers between them. Both teams have taken care of the basketball. Minnesota with 4 turnovers, Spurs with just 3.
Mike Miller back in. Miller had a dozen points in that opening quarter. He's the only Timberwolves starter to score. Parker already with 13, adding to the total there. 6 of 10 from the field. If you have a question for the broadcast tonight, you can text us at short code 74499. Either answer the questions during the broadcast or on the Quest Wolves Live post-game show tonight.
Both teams perfect from the free throw line, each 5 for 5.
Love with the up fake, carries the basketball inside, draws the contact. Mike Miller is there to give him a little bit of pound. Nicely done by the rookie.
Puts that ball on the floor, one dribble, and then tucks it away like a running back, busting through the line. Strong hands of Love allow him to keep control of the basketball and get the foul call.
There haven't been a lot of 6'10", 260-pound fullbacks, but in a goal line situation might be a good idea. Kevin Love, perfect at the line, 7 points in 14 minutes. But so much more than that, what he's done on the defensive side. Popovich on his feet at the other end. He does not look like a happy guy.
Great defense by Telfair.
Kick back to Tony. And Tony is left alone for a moment, and he cans another triple.
Leave him open now. He's deadly. There was a time in his career early on where, first of all, you got to play physical with Tony Parker, but you leave him open now, it's 2 points or 3.
Miller won't go. Kevin Love was there to tap it in, but that was off target. Parker again. sliding through, and he's fouled by Sebastian Telfair.
See, the problem with guarding someone like Tony Parker, like Steve Nash, like the great ones, Chris Paul, you press up on them, they can dribble past you. If you give them space, it gives them a head of steam to get to the basket. See, Telfair's giving him that cushion. Now he's got to press up, and now Parker's already into the paint, and he's deadly. So that's the real advantage when you have a great point guard in this league, not only to run pick and roll, but in open court situations to get to the basket and get to the free throw line.
Kevin Love catching his breath on the Wolves bench. Our Menards news and notes tonight, Pete. We heard wind of this on Sunday. Allen Iverson for Chauncey Billups. What do you think of the trade, and who does it help the most, short and long term?
It helps both teams. You know, Joe Dumars looking for into the future. You know, free agency. Allen Iverson is going to be a free agent at the end of the season. Clears cap space for the Pistons. For the Denver Nuggets, you get some classy people to your team. Chauncey Billups from the Denver area. Great for him.
He's very happy to have had the deal go through, and Ryan Combs rattles it. During the Detroit press conference today, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, Allen Iverson fielding questions, was asked about practice, and Tony Parker, that time it wouldn't go practice he went into. It broke up the crowd. Bassey underneath. Beautiful play. Welcome back, Sebastian Telfair. Creativity by Bassey, and then the answer immediately at the other end. It's a two-point shot by Roger Mason.
Spurs push it back in transition. Foy had to cover two that time. He had Parker come in transition, also had to guard Roger Mason. Good ball movement by Parker to find Mason, who knocks it down.
Al Jefferson. This time Oberto on misfires.
Now 2 of 8 from the floor. Ryan Gomes 0 for 4.
Closing in on 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Tony Parker steps into that shot. It's a 2, and Parker continues to fill it up. 22 points here in the first half.
Well, they've been daring Tony Parker to knock down jump shots. They've been trying to keep him out of the painted area, give him a little cushion, make him a jump shooter. Boy, has he been effective. 8 of 13 for Tony Parker.
Telfair over to Al Jefferson now. Leaning in, wouldn't go, gets the second opportunity and takes care of business. Big Al's third make tonight. In 10 attempts, he has 9 rebounds as well. Parker out to Finley for 3. Off the front iron. Al Jefferson has his 10th rebound here in the first half. The Spurs with an early 4-point lead. Fabricio Roberto with the foul on Sebastian Telfair, who a short time ago showed us his magic. Welcome back, Bassey.
You came along all bright and new with big ideas that grew and grew and grew.
The Chrysler Town and Country with 25 highway miles per gallon. Fuel economy that's unsurpassed by any minivan.
With big ideas that grew and grew and grew.
The Great Gladiators Pit, where Teeth Nash and tall, sweaty men wear shorts. And here are the keys that could allow you to feast your eyes on glorious sights. The Timberwolves star-studded six-pack. Oh, great edifice, tell us your secrets. Tell us your secrets. Order a six-pack at timberwolves.com.
Timberwolves on top of the San Antonio Spurs, a team they have not defeated in quite a while. Hey, coming up on Halftime Live, we'll give you an all-access look back at the Wolves front office on draft night. And we'll flash back to another memorable moment as the Wolves celebrate their 20th anniversary. Anthony and Mike also will answer your text questions. All of it on Halftime Live.
They're going to show you back there giving them all advice on who to draft? On draft night?
No, that was not the case.
We don't get consulted much on who to pick, do we?
With good reason.
Well, hold on a second.
Well, at least on my part. Kevin McHale.
I agree with that.
You're going to throw me under the bus like this time.
just joshing with you.
Timberwolves bench has been solid. 27 points they've accounted for so far here in the first half. 9 of 13 shooting. The starters back in the final minute of the first half. Brewer throws it back to Al Jefferson, and it bounces off the rim.
I want to get that on the glass quickly. The shot clock was winding down.
Parker held off that time by Telfair. Bassey in his face. Count the basket. Corey Brewer went in defensively to reject it. And it's a goaltending call.
Pop's not making any second guessing about who he's going to go to in this ballgame. Tony Parker's been hot.
Ride that horse.
Might as well.
Bassey finds an opening. Beautiful pass underneath to Al Jefferson, who draws the contact, but Sebastian Telfair is certainly putting on a show here in the first half.
There's no substitution for speed, is there? And Tony Parker is having to guard a very quick, Bruce Bowen having to guard a very quick Sebastian Telfair. How about the deft pass? It's a beautiful thing by Sebastian Telfair. It's good to have him back in the lineup.
Big Al's first free throws of the night. Well, the popular Wolves meal deal is back again this year, available each Friday, Saturday, and Sunday game. For only $19, you get a $20 ticket, so you're ahead of the game to begin with. A hot dog, chips, and a small Pepsi. Go to Timberwolves.com for more information and to purchase tickets. Timberwolves have improved dramatically after that 11 of 22 opening night performance at the line. Now 79% of the line as a team, 9th best in the NBA. Tony Parker biding his time, working the clock down. Corey Brewer is there defensively. And Brewer picks up the foul. Foul to give.
See how difficult it is to guard people now in the NBA since they've changed the hand-checking rules. I mean, it's almost impossible. It's like defensive backs in the NFL trying to guard wide receivers, cover them in coverage. And tell you what, you're looking at Corey Brewer. He's quick enough to be able to stay with Parker, but not many people are. He's just so deceptive. His escape dribbles are elusive. His ability to make those runners just make him hard to guard. He quick jumps you all the time.
Well, like a defensive back, you're backpedaling the whole way too, which is much more difficult.
And Tony Parker knows what he's going to do too. He knows when he's going to put the brakes on. He knows when he's going to cross over and go to his right or left.
Jefferson out. Kevin Ollie is in. Closing seconds, first half here at Target Center. Great to have you with us. Parker. Wolf drop, loose ball. And halftime has arrived. The San Antonio Spurs have not held a halftime lead or lead after 3 quarters yet this season. And the Timberwolves will head to the locker room with a 4-point advantage. Telly Hughes standing by with Mike Miller.
Thanks so much, Tom. Mike has 12 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Mike, how were you able to be so assertive on the offensive end tonight?
I just took what they gave me. Tonight I got some open looks. Foy, Telfair did a good job driving the lanes. kicking for open threes. I got a few open looks from three-point line tonight, which was nice to see.
Thanks for your time.
No problem, Bubba.
That's Mike Miller. One of the reasons why the Wolves will take a lead into the half right now. Let's send it back over to Tom.
Telly, thanks so much. Well, it was a memorable night in June. Draft day brought some major changes in the Timberwolves organization, and we were there with an all-access pass. Been a beautiful story so far for the Timberwolves. We are only halfway through, however. Both teams struggling in terms of shooting, and Mike Miller and Tony Parker have carried their clubs through much of this game. Let's send it over to Telly Hughes standing by with Jerry Seasting.
Thanks, Tom. Coach, it seems like you guys have been able to play solid defense and show some consistency on the offensive end. What do you guys need to do to sustain that here in the second half?
Well, we got off to a slow start offensively, but then the guys got into it a little bit. We made some shots. Mike Miller got hot early in the ball game, and then Sebastian Telfair came in, and he really kept the pace going for us. So I think that's going to be a big key. They played last night. We got to keep the pressure on them offensively, keep the pace, and keep running.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Tom, let's send it back over to you.
Telly, thank you very much. As we told you at the top, Greg Popovich's group has lost 3 straight to start the season. That is the worst start since 1973-74 season. They were in the ABA at the time. They were 0-4. San Antonio has never lost 5 in a row with Tim Duncan on the roster. Now, Duncan has had just 2 4-game losing streaks in his 12-year NBA career. The Spurs had another 4-game losing streak in that span, but Duncan had a DNP in 1 game. So it's really remarkable. 12 years and 2 4-game losing streaks in 12 years for Tim Duncan. The Timberwolves 6 times last year had 5-game or more losing streak, and all of that before Martin Luther King holiday last season.
Minnesota needs to stay away from the scoring drought. Kevin Love starts the power forward position over Ryan Gomes, so Randy Whitman going back with Love, who played so physical and so well there in the first half. Question is, who's he going to guard?
Al Jefferson got it to Sebastian Telfair. Had a little bit of trouble holding onto the basketball. Randy Foy. Sorry. And we saw Foy unable to complete the play. Tim Duncan misses to start the second half.
Tim Duncan, 3 of 11 in the first half, misses that one there. But this is an interesting matchup situation. Love's going to be guarded by Michael Finley. Just go right at Michael Finley. The question is, who is Al or Love going to guard at the other end? One of them's going to take Duncan, obviously. But
now facing up on Tim Duncan, and traveling is called. Pete, both teams did a beautiful job protecting the basketball in the first half. The Timberwolves just 4 turnovers to 3 for the Spurs.
So Love's going to match up with Bruce Bowen. You just got to be sure that you stay connected to your team, because if you leave Bruce Bowen, he'll knock down that 3-point shot. Not much of an offensive threat to go to the hoop.
Duncan kicks it out to Parker. Swung to Finley. And Michael moves inside. Al Jefferson is there to take the charge. Big Al Jefferson doing everything he can again tonight to get the Wolves another W here at home.
We saw Big Al take a charge, or try to, in Oklahoma City. At that time, got there in time. What great technique and good help defense. Mike Miller gets beat off the bounce. Al gets outside the half moon. Nice job by Al Jefferson. There you go. Go at Michael Finley. He's going to be guarded by Kevin Love.
Love turns it around and throws it in. The hook shot is good. Michael Finley beat badly there. Finley has missed every shot he's taken tonight as well on the offensive end.
So this is where I say, Kevin Love can be a matchup nightmare. And Michael Finley knocked down a jumper there. But, so many coaches, they match up against what the other team is doing. I say make them match up for you. If you want to play a smaller lineup, make them pay.
Finley now 1 of 6 hitting the 3. Love down low. Tim Duncan stuffs him. And then Kevin, falling out of bounds, throws the basketball off the Spurs. Lots of beef on the block. So quick thinking by Kevin Love in Minnesota. 11 seconds to work with on the possession.
It's one of those things I learned from playing for Don Nelson, who was always the guy that always thought about ways to screw up your matchups.
Fadeaway shot won't go. Kevin Love after the rebound.
And see, Kevin Love's a house. Michael Finley has to foul him down low. If Al's going to take that shot from the baseline, Kevin Love's going to get to the opposite side of the rim. House Michael Finley. Love it. See, Al takes that fadeaway. See Michael getting housed underneath the hole by Kevin Love, pushing him under the hoop, which is what you should do. Finley can't believe it. He thought that, yeah, he's pushing me.
Love hands it to Jefferson. Working on Tim Duncan. Up and under Tim Duncan. Slipped under the grasp of the future Hall of Famer. Finley open. Lets it fly. Hit last time. This time no. And Tim Duncan boxed out that time as Jefferson records his 11th rebound. Big Al with his 4th consecutive double-double. Jefferson.
So now you made Greg Popovich match up with you. You're going to bring in Alberto right now. It's not working with the smaller lineup. I think that, Popovich originally thought that maybe Randy Whitman would come back with Gomes, which, that's obviously a little different player than Kevin Love. But he sees that Love is taking advantage of that matchup down low. So now he's got a matchup with Randy Whitman.
Kevin Love continues his success at the free throw line. He's not missed yet in the NBA, at least regular season, 10 of 10. And Kevin has 11 points. Tough night for Michael Finley because of that guy, Kevin Love, in that mismatch and has taken advantage throughout the course of this game. Parker defers to Duncan. Tim up the middle. Runs into Kevin Love. Wants the call, doesn't get it.
Kevin Love does a great job of acquiring Tim Duncan. Gets into a stance as he approaches. Gives him... Watch him approach here. Watch him approach and then back up. In a stance, back up, reacquire, make Duncan make a bad play. Great defense by Kevin Love.
Parker lets it fly, but we got a whistle beforehand. Offensive foul is called on Tim Duncan. Number 2.
Randy Whitman and his coaching staff are going to look at these early possessions here as really great team defensive concepts. Guys that are doing their job, they're helping each other out, they're trusting each other.
Miller left alone on the wing, short that time. Loose ball, still up for grabs. Mike Miller's got it. Into Jefferson. In a crowd, gets it up and over. Alberto.
Dance on him, Big Al. Al's like Fred Astaire out there.
Al Jefferson quickly moving up court, and credit Mike Miller for keeping that possession alive and giving Minnesota a chance to make it a 9-point advantage. Timberwolves 6-0 in the second chance points.
No work, no worries. Finally here.
Yep. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
It's what you've been waiting for. Quad Fair is here. Your chance to score the lowest financing and best deals of the year on Suzuki's full line of King Quad and Sport ATVs. Plus, enter the Quad Fair sweepstakes to win big. Make tracks to your Suzuki dealer today.
Sure is pretty out here.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
For 50 years, Ford Credit has had one goal: to make owning a vehicle more affordable for everyone. Today more than ever, you can count on Ford Credit for the financing you need to get into a new Ford car, truck, SUV, or crossover, including the exciting new Flex. Today is a great day to drive one. Get a new Ford Edge with 0% APR for 72 months. See your local Northland Ford dealer today and drive one.
These guys are still in the double team. Now there's 2 guys on Al. Ryan Gomes has worked his way down to the backside. Now these guys have got to come over to the strong side of the floor to try to shorten their rotation. We get the ball kicked from Al. They rotate. Now they have to make a decision on the backside. We've got a 2-on-1 situation where this defender has to make up his mind if he's going to run all the way out to the corner or if he's going to run and sit on top of Ryan Gomes. Either way, we like our chances of playing 2-on-1 on the backside of a defense.
Tonight's Dodge game break nicely done by J.B. Bickerstaff. And Pete, it's hard for me to believe that someday J.B. won't follow in his father's footsteps as a head coach in the NBA.
At some level, either NBA or college. He really likes the college game too, but once you get up at this level, it's hard to go back down just because of, just the nature of the job. The college job is so much of the hard part. You only coach about 20% of the time as a college coach. So much of it is recruiting.
Bruce Bowen once led the NBA in three-point shooting. That was a few years ago. But Bowen hits there.
You leave that three-point shooter in the corner. You're really taking your chances, especially with Bowen, that's what he does.
First make tonight, just the second 3 he's hit this season. And Corey Brewer answers. It's a 2. But a big bucket nonetheless for Corey. His first points tonight. On a 1-for-3 start from the field.
Wow.
Duncan. Boy, looks so simple. As Timmy Duncan finds Tony Parker, floats the ball to him, and Parker floats it in himself. That has been run a few million times. Jefferson on the block, draws some attention, throws it up. This time, no.
See, JB drew up that play about how to get the ball rotated, but the problem is, Al's so confident, he ain't passing that ball back out of that double team.
Tony Parker, loose ball foul underneath.
The possession before, when Minnesota was on offense, you saw Bruce Bowen come around a screen by Al Jefferson, and he slides his shoulders around and doesn't get hit. But watch Corey Brewer on this one. When Duncan comes around, Corey catches that shoulder. You cannot square up those shoulders, Tom. You've got to skinny up when you get around that screen. When Tony Parker's taking you off that high post, Corey Brewer opens his shoulders up. He catches the hip of Tim Duncan and knocks himself off.
Al Jefferson all over Duncan that time. Corey Brewer got a hand on the loose ball as Duncan tried to pass it out to Bowen. See the reaction of Mike Miller after the whistle. Miller picks up the personal. His first tonight.
That play by Corey Brewer, Tom, it's really an art to get around screens, and a lot of point guards don't want to do that dirty work, but Corey Brewer is one of those guys that really will work to get around screens. That's why one of the reasons why you feel comfortable him guarding with Tony Parker.
Mason misses the 2. 4th rebound for Miller. Randy Foye got in close. And things are not dropping for Randy during most of the early season. 2 of 5 tonight. He's got 4 points. Does have 5 assists and 3 rebounds. Bowen back to Parker. Tim Duncan there to set a pick and eventually get the ball in his hands and hits. Timmy Duncan, as the Spurs run that one to perfection. Duncan up to 8 points. Both teams in the low 40s. They were in the low 20s in the opening quarter. Nearly taken away. Jefferson is fouled as he spins on the baseline.
Kevin Love sits down in the left box. He's being guarded by Duncan, so he sets a cross screen on Al. That's getting the shot that you want to get, bringing the guy to the basketball that has the advantage. And that's what basketball is, right? It's a game of matchups, and that's really what you're looking for to get an advantage in any position.
Kevin Love lets it fly. Updating tonight, Amari Stoudemire, 51 points as Phoenix beats Indiana by 10. Mason hits this time. Roger Mason out of Virginia, the third leading scorer for the Spurs so far this season. San Antonio on a 6-0 run. They have pulled within 2 midway through the third quarter.
Hundreds of financing options are now available at your Jeep dealer today.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Look, I really like you, but you're giving me mixed signals. I saw you in an ad in the paper and you were one price. You were a totally different price online. And now you're telling me that you could be a whole nother price if I buy you in your store?
Pretty much.
I have somebody I think you should meet.
Unlike some stores, Circuit City has a one-price promise, which means the low prices you find online are the same prices you find in our stores. Come in and save store-wide at Circuit City's 3-day sale this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Circuit City, we'll hook you up with gifts to love.
Ah, that new car soup smell. Savor the perfect ingredients. Local dealers fully stocked. All the new makes and models, whatever you're looking for, stir in local deals, new and used. That's some great soup. Buy, research, smell. Carsoup.com.
Welcome back to the Target Center where the Wolves lead the Spurs 59-57 here in the third quarter. It'll be interesting to see how the Timberwolves finish because that's exactly where they struggled the last time they were out, and that's been the point of emphasis the last couple of practices.
We got to understand when we miss 2 or 3 shots, 4 shots, and it's a tight ball game. You got to know where to go. You got to know where to go where you can get buckets, where you can get wide open shots, and that's to our big fella right now. And we'll figure it out. You know, when they make runs, we got to slow down instead of speed up.
On Sunday, they only scored 2 points in the final 5 minutes. And Jim, that's something they got to work on in order to be able to pull out some of these wins.
Exactly right. I mean, you got to know, what's a good shot and what's a bad shot. A good shot in the first quarter may be a bad shot in the fourth quarter. So you got to know that and understand the difference.
Miller for 3, yes! Kept alive by the offensive board of Corey Brewer. 3 threes tonight for Mike Miller.
7 second chance points in the third quarter for Minnesota. That's really helped out. Good job by Corey Brewer getting that offensive rebound, giving Minnesota another chance.
Parker defers to Duncan thanks to the defense, but Timmy Duncan not to be stopped. So Duncan now in double figures. 5 of 14 from the field in this game. Doesn't matter. 3 rebounds shy of the double-double. Bounce pass by Love to Al Jefferson as that combo continues to click.
So if they're going to double Mike Miller coming off that screen like that, Kevin Love flashing to the top of the key area free throw line, and then he does a good job of pressing the issue, puts the ball on the floor, left-hand dribble, bounce pass to Al. Al does what he does best, gets inside and makes something happen.
Al Jefferson, 12 points, 11 rebounds. Perfect at the free throw line tonight. Speaking of Al Jefferson, let's take a look at our Spirit of Service leaderboard. Double-doubles since the start of the 2007-2008 season, so carried over from last year. And Al Jefferson,
little big man,
and
Chris
Paul, and of course both of those players ahead of Tim Duncan, Mr. Double-double.
Chris Paul points and assists, and so good. I mean, one of my favorite players in the league now. Chris Paul, just a classy guy. We saw it from the very first game we saw him play, Tom.
Udoka to the middle, draws the contact, and has a chance for a 3-point play. Ime Udoka, 31 years of age, and a great story. He was a late training camp addition for Portland, made the team, and has put together a nice NBA career.
See, that's where Mike Miller, trying to run out to a three-point shooter, you're not going to block the shot. You come down in a defensive stance and you make them shoot. If he wants to shoot that shot that's contested, that's fine, but you don't give up the dribble drive penetration. You got to keep that guy in front of you and not let these kinds of things happen.
San Antonio has scored on 6 of its last 7 possessions.
Kevin Love, 11 points, 5 rebounds. Al Jefferson, 13 points, 11 rebounds himself.
Timberwolves offense has struggled at times and really clicked other times. Kevin Love carrying it inside. Unable to finish, but out of bounds off the Spurs.
You know what I like about that play, Tom? It's showing me that Kevin Love has now had the confidence to expand his game. He's shooting threes. He's posting up on both sides of the floor. He's putting the ball on the floor, trying to be creative with it. I like the fact that he's gaining confidence.
And we're only 4 games into the season. Miller breaks free, kicks it out to Telfair. Bassey moves in closer and then sticks the shot. Sebastian Telfair now with 8 points and 4 assists, so he has been a factor in this game.
Been rock solid, hasn't he?
Parker again, so smooth, so easy. 10 of 17 tonight, now with 26 points, which is exactly what he averages. He and Duncan both at 26 a game. Big Al held out momentarily, but the beast with a beauty. Big Al Jefferson enjoying the challenge of going up against Tim Duncan. And he has certainly played like it. 15 points, 11 rebounds. And 10 points and 7 boards for Duncan. 6 straight shots now for the Spurs.
In some ways, I like dribble handoff better than pick and roll because it's harder to defend, harder to set up.
Love squeezes by, trying to wrap it around Tim Duncan, and then goes down hard.
He's got enough beef to be able to take that kind of fall and abuse.
Kevin Love quickly on his feet. Love will be clearing the cobwebs right now.
Let's see if he hits his head here. It gets knocked down.
Nope.
Kind of that left shoulder kind of saves his face from hitting the floor. Craig Smith checks in for Al Jefferson, who didn't want to come out of the ball game.
Love continues a perfect night at the line. 5 of 5, now with a dozen points and 5 rebounds.
It's productive. His plus minus, as Tully mentioned earlier, is the best on the team. Craig Smith, it vacates his area too quickly, could have got that rebound.
Plus 11 is Love. Mason loads it up and fills it up. Roger Mason does it again.
He says, come off me if you want to, Rashad. I'm knocking down shots.
Mason came into the game having hit 7 of his first 10 threes this season. So he is on a tear indeed. Kevin Love tries to swing baseline, held off, out to Miller. Mike cutting through the lane, kicks it out to Rashad. And Shotty slowing down Udoka. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. San Antonio on a tear, scoring in 9 of their last 10 possessions. They have tied it up. Speaking of tying it up, Sebastian Telfair does exactly that.
How about that?
Forcing the jump ball. Quick feet, quick hands. Sebastian Telfair.
It's like trying to catch a bullet, trying to
with your teeth.
Grab the basketball from Tony Parker when he's moving at full speed. See Tim Duncan, watch him try to roll into this pick and roll, keep Bassey out of there. Bassey reacquires him. It's great defense by Sebastian.
Brian Gomes back in. Kevin Love heads to the bench with a smattering of applause.
heads up.
Jump ball flies out of bounds, as does Mike Miller. Boy, this guy is all out all the time, isn't he? Mike Miller. Showing his hustle.
Mike checks his uniform to make sure there's no Pepsi all over the place. You went right into the Spurs fan. That's fine, Mike. Go ahead and run them over. It's that kid's name that grabbed the foul ball in Chicago. Guy in the Spurs jersey. Bartman kid.
Steve Bartman.
That's right.
Greg Smith misfires. Still tied at 68. Spurs have come to life here in the third. Tony Parker sticks it again. Parker's 12th make in 19 attempts. He's got 30 points.
These things have been going under screen and rolls, and you're just hoping at some point he's going to start missing shots because he's been taking so many. He's not missed. I mean, he has been dead on.
Ryan Gomes, great offensive board back out to Mike Miller. Under a minute remaining here in the third. Gomes feathers the pass underneath to Craig Smith, who's fouled.
San Antonio is so good at handling those step-up pick and rolls. They do not let you use that screen. Mike Miller has to go back to the middle of the floor, but Popovich, having a veteran team really helps, obviously, because everybody's on the same page with all the defensive schemes. What a great coach Greg Popovich is.
Underrated, if you can be underrated after winning 4 NBA championships, but not often talked about with the likes of Pat Riley and Phil Jackson. Friday nights, it's all you can eat in the Hungry Like a Wolf section. For just $40, you get a $35 ticket and all the hot dogs, pretzels, nachos, popcorn, and pop you can consume. Go to Timberwolves.com for more information and to purchase tickets.
So he's gotten the line 17 times in this game, 14 of 17. Spurs only gotten there 8 times. They've been shooting lights out. 50% for San Antonio, 41 for Minnesota.
Tony Parker does a great job dribbling and getting by Sebastian Telfair, and then he drills the shot. 32 for Parker. Ryan Gomes on the receiving end that time from Telfair.
Foul to get for Minnesota again here. Minnesota's been doing a good job of not committing a lot of fouls. I mean, they have not put San Antonio on the line. You've had this foul to give here at the end of quarters. See that last hoop by Tony Parker, because he's just got Minnesota on roller skates right now. Sebastian's trying to stay in front of him. He's doing a good job running in screen and roll situation. Bassey runs into that screen. Craig's too far away. So, if the screen's been solid, Minnesota's been going under the screen. He's been stopping and popping. If they get caught by the screen, he's been stopping and popping.
Mason up the middle, and he bounces it home.
He doesn't do that very often.
Final seconds, third quarter, and the San Antonio Spurs have their first lead after 3 quarters this season. And they have it after they hit their last 10 shots of the quarter. The Spurs 13 of 17 in the third, led by Tony Parker. San Antonio trying to battle and pick up their first victory of the season tonight here at Target Center.
How your vehicle is damaged, we can fix it. Call Abra at 1-888-USA-ABRA. Abra, America's most recommended.
Is there anyone out there who wants more choice? Is there anyone out there who wants more freedom? Is there anyone out there who wants to be treated with a little more respect? It's time to Give choice. A voice. MoneyGram. International money transfer. Power is in your hands.
Oh, did you hear McDonald's has cappuccinos now?
McDonald's?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I could shave this thing off my face.
Yeah, we don't have to call movies films anymore.
We can talk about football.
I like football. I like sitting and watching football.
I don't need these glasses. These are fake.
I do need mine. They're very real.
Also try McCafe Mochas, rich dark chocolate with freshly ground espresso beans and real steamed milk. It's all the coffee, hold the attitude. Now at McDonald's.
I almost bought a beret the other day.
Don't.
That's awesome. Very attractive.
I love it. Lots of room back there in the back. Yeah, it's got all kinds of room in it, man. We drove it down a huge mountain. It's still as smooth as can be. Loads of power. Hemi, top of the line. Can't even feel the trailer back there. Go, 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 go!
Welcome back to Target Center. 12 minutes remaining. And what has been an entertaining night. Timberwolves trying to even their record at 2-2 against the San Antonio Spurs team that has yet to win a game. The first 0-3 start in the years they have been in the NBA. And the Timberwolves have played well tonight, Pete, and it's been a variety of individuals. Mike Miller has his 3-point stroke back. He's got 15 points. Al Jefferson has his 4th double-double. Kevin Love has been solid off the bench. Minnesota's bench as a whole has been terrific. Second chance points have played a factor. The Timberwolves with a 14-0 advantage in that category. Randy Foye picks up the foul. His second tonight. San Antonio enters this game as the second best shooting team in the NBA, but they rank 21st in points scored. And you look at the numbers, obviously it's very early, but you scratch your head. 29th in blocks, dead last in steals. Not what you would expect. 3-second violation is whistled.
He shot in the cans. He was playing way off of Ime Udoka. He's the nail guy, but he went into that painted area and stayed there for longer than 2.9.
San Antonio now 8 of 9 at the line tonight. The Timberwolves 14 of 17. So Minnesota with a distinct advantage in that area as well. Mason trying to penetrate inside, does exactly that. Randy Foye quickly up court. Gomes is fed. Nice touch pass. Foye to McCants to Gomes. Timberwolves back within 2. Udoka. San Antonio enters the game shooting 49% from the field. McCants, another 3-point miss. And to further expound on it, you know, San Antonio's had been one of the best defenses since Tim Duncan stepped onto the court with them. The Spurs 22nd in points allowed entering the game. Brewer in, McCants out. Sean started by knocking down his first 3 shots. He's missed 4 in a row since. The fans, he is coming back for one night only. Kevin Garnett and the world champion Boston Celtics making their only Target Center appearance on Friday, November 21st. Get your tickets now at Timberwolves.com before they're all gone. Good chance to see Kevin Garnett in uniform. The Celtics uniform, of course, KG's visit last year was injured, not playing. Did come out for a bow and received a lengthy standing ovation.
The same situation we had at the beginning of the third quarter. Smaller team on the floor for San Antonio. Michael Finley had to guard Kevin Love. Right now, the Gomes-Udoka matchup really doesn't favor either team for the most part. They're kind of the same guy.
Brewer for three. Short. Corey, 1 of 4 tonight. Traveling is called.
Finn's not having one of his better games. I'm a huge Michael Finley fan, 1 of 7. He's been a Warrior his whole career. One of those guys you just admire, Tom, because he came into the league with the Phoenix Suns and, really played well as a Dallas Mavericks. How much fun was that to watch Nash and Dirk Nowitzki play with Michael Finley? Those were great years in Dallas.
Gomes stops on the baseline. We saw Corey Brewer with his hand on the basketball momentarily, but it would not go. Bruce Bowen back in for San Antonio. Timberwolves point guard tonight, 11 assists and not a single turnover. Meanwhile, you saw that man, Tony Parker, 32 points, 7 assists and 5 rebounds. A monster night. Hotel Fair
just fouled out of the game.
That is his 5th.
Is his 5th or is his 6th?
I think
it is his 5th. I can't see the stat line. Shoot.
Hill with his first point of the night. George Hill, the rookie, originally out of Indianapolis, playing in just his 2nd game in the NBA. Six-point lead is the largest of the game for the Spurs. Brewer slicing through the lane, draws the contact. George Hill picks up his 2nd. Well, Pete, the Timberwolves have been at their worst offensively here in the 4th quarter. So far this season, averaging just 18 points, shooting 37% from the floor. It's a trend they would like to change.
They have not turned the ball over in this game. Only 5 turnovers for Minnesota. They've gotten to the free throw line a bunch of times. Comparatively speaking, 19 free throw attempts for Minnesota. There's 13 for the Spurs.
They've done a much better job on the boards as well. Tim Duncan with the up fake got Al Jefferson in the air momentarily. You see the frustration on Al's face. You can just read his mind. I've seen that move a million times. Why did I bite on it?
Well, because he does it. I mean, to me, almost mimicking Al Jefferson in the way that he was pump faking there. I mean, who's imitating who there? It's almost like looking into a mirror. See the Duncan-Jefferson matchup. Of course, Tim Duncan's had Tony Parker with 32 and 7 assists.
Timmy Duncan, his first free throw tonight. Duncan last season shot 73% at the free throw line, his best season in 6 years. This is the second. Boy, he knew it immediately.
So Minnesota's done a good job of not fouling, playing defense without fouling, and not allowing San Antonio to get into the penalty. They're already in the penalty in this game.
Mike Miller won't go. It was a 2.
You've got 9.5 minutes now to play against the Spurs in the fourth quarter with them in the penalty, and they are going to try to take you to the woodshed.
Tony Parker is ready to check in momentarily. Tim Duncan starting to heat up now with 13 points. How will the Wolves respond? Well, this is a good place to start. Jefferson changing directions a couple times, turns it around, it rolls out.
So this is one of those things where, Kevin Love is in there to offensive rebound the basketball. Minnesota got smaller guys that don't necessarily like to in the game. So Kevin Love definitely was shaking things up in that first half.
8:57 left on an interesting night here in downtown Minneapolis.
Quest Wolves Live coming up next on Fox Sports North.
Home improvement for a better life. Menards. All Lions kitchen sinks are on sale. The Gourmet Choice acrylic sink is available in white or almond and features a high-gloss stain-resistant finish. Just $69. Save big on lighting by Ecolite. Choose from this 15-inch flush mount ceiling light with brushed nickel finish, only $34.99, or this 4-inch globe ceiling light in 2 finishes, only $9.99. Plus, there's 0 payments and no interest till summer with your Menards Big Card.
Save big money at Menards.
Good morning, Marquette. You hear about this Dwayne Wade recruit? He's got academic problems. He's not even going to play. This guy.
So there's Miami with a monumental waste of a draft pick.
Kidding me, he's injured again. The guy's a bleeder. I hope you save the receipt, Miami.
Yeah, well, of course he got a gold in China. Let's not forget what else he's got. A bum shoulder, weak knees, a glass jaw, more injuries than he's got joints. What do you think, Miami? Phone lines are open.
Ford Truck Month has been extended through November 18th. Get up to $7,500 cash back on select Ford F-150 and Super Duty pickups. These are America's #1 selling trucks. And now up to $7,500 cash back. The most towing, the most payload, and Ford Credit financing to help you drive one. Ford Credit is ready to help you buy or lease a Ford vehicle today, just as they have been for the past 50 years. See your local Northland Ford dealer today.
You're watching Fox Sports North.
Minnesota Timberwolves basketball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Jeep, with an unmatched lineup of legendary vehicles. Have fun out there, Jeep. And by McDonald's. Your courtside seat to the Minnesota Timberwolves is Wolves Weekly. Join host Telly Hughes as he takes a look at a day in the life of Kevin Love. Wolves Weekly also tonight, the Draft Night All Access. Wolves Weekly tonight after the Quest Wolves Live, only on Fox Sports North.
San Antonio has been very efficient. They trailed 57-48, Tom, and they've scored on 19 of 22 possessions.
Duncan has had his hands in many of them, as Tony Parker.
But their role players have played great. I mean, look at Roger Mason Jr.
Corey Brewer had a wide open look, and he hits that time. Second make tonight.
Mason having 19 off the bench has really helped them. Udoka's also shot the ball well. 4 of 5 for Udoka, efficient 8 points. Something they have not gotten this season.
Two-man game, Duncan and Parker. Count the basket. Mike Miller rising up to block it, got his hand through the cylinder.
Great back cut by Tony Parker that time.
Miller, two-man game with Jefferson. Al Jefferson hanging in the air, gets the bucket, and he'll step up to the line.
Again, Mike Miller comes off full speed off that screen. Bowen's trailing. Duncan has to help out. Al Rose into the perfect spot. Weak side defense doesn't step in between. Udoka's trying to box out Ryan Gomes. Just a well-conceived play. Beautifully executed.
Fourth assist in the night for Mike Miller. drive at the line. Tons of time left. Tony Parker pushes it up and just hung on the iron. Mike Miller picks up the foul, and Tony Parker back at the line. 4 of 4 tonight. Parker with 34 points, and the Spurs playing without Manu Ginobili, who was a leading scorer in all 4 games last season against the Timberwolves, including a season-high 44-point performance. And Parker with 36 closing in on that number. Brewer for 3.
Mike Miller standing wide open right next to Corey.
Given a choice.
I mean, you just got to know what your options are. You know, do I rather have me shooting it or would I rather have him shooting it? And obviously, Corey Brewer, you know, he's hit a couple shots here. He's played pretty well. But you got a choice between him or Mike Miller. You got to make that pass.
Miller has had the hot hand tonight. 50% from the floor, 15 points, 6 rebounds.
He hasn't squeezed the trigger too many times here in the second half.
Corey Brewer, that time Al Jefferson timed it perfectly, and Brewer using his speed to slice through the lane. Back to a 5-point lead for the Spurs. San Antonio's largest advantage is 7 tonight. Timberwolves did have a 9-point lead in this game. Duncan rises up and smacks it off the glass. Tim Duncan, he's done it all in his 12 NBA seasons. Brewer delivered the ball to Jefferson, knocked away by Tim Duncan. All 8 of Corey Brewer's points come here in the second half.
So Al gets the double team here, and actually there it comes. Corey Brewer goes to the front of the rim, which is what you should do.
Got a timeout on the court. San Antonio has hit 14 of its last 15 shots. The Timberwolves hanging close.
Wolves Weekly, after Quest Wolves Live.
Good morning, Marquette. You hear about this Dwayne Wade recruit? He's got academic problems. He's not even going to play, this guy.
So there's Miami with a monumental waste of a draft pick.
Kidding me, he's injured again. The guy's a bleeder. I hope you save the receipt, Miami.
Yeah, well, of course he got a gold in China. Let's not forget what else he's got. A bum shoulder, weak knees, a glass jaw, more injuries than he's got joints. What do you think, Miami? Phone lines are open.
Quest Wolves Live, coming up next on Fox Sports North.
Welcome back to the Target Center, where the Wolves will have 6 minutes and 51 seconds to make up a 7-point deficit. Make sure you stay with us after the game for Quest Wolves Live, which will include the Toyota post-game wrap. Spurs great and now broadcaster Sean Elliott will join us for our on-court instructional plus. We'll break down the star power forwards tonight. We'll see how Al Jefferson and Tim Duncan end up finishing this night off. We'll have all that and much, much more coming up on Quest Wolves Live after the game. Tom and Jim?
Sean was a little camera shy there, wasn't he? What the heck?
He wants to save it for his appearance in the instructional. Randy Foy launches, but gets the rebound. Out to Mike Miller for three. Yes! Mike Miller! Sizzling tonight here at home. Another long ball.
Now you got to get some stops. The Spurs have been really efficient scoring the basketball here in the second half.
Corey Brewer, Al Jefferson, both working hard on the defensive end. Mike Miller comes away with it.
Ryan's got to step into that and knock it down.
Gomes, nice find for Corey Brewer. And Brewer celebrating and letting go of some of the frustration that he has felt in this game.
Well, that's the way you use Corey Brewer. Cut it to the basket, using his athleticism and quickness to get there and to finish.
Brewer all 10 of his points now here in the second half.
He's really done a good job. I mean, he's really found his strength now, and so they're going to double or they're going to throw it in the low hole. He's got someone smaller on him. Go to the basket. Beautiful job by Corey Brewer.
Timberwolves with 4 steals now in this game. The Spurs don't have one. Defense the call with 6 minutes left. And the Wolves within a point. Parker. Tony Parker scoring at will tonight. 38 points. Gomes out to Miller. Mike Miller for three. Yes! The South Dakota Sniper has done it again.
Love the South Dakota Sniper. It's better than the Black Hills Bomber.
We're tied at 90.
Man,
Parker.
Tony Parker.
40 points tonight. He has been simply unstoppable. Great finish here at Target Center. Gomes on the baseline. Pound it and one.
This game has turned into everything we thought it might be. I mean, you know, it hasn't been exactly the Duncan Jefferson battle we thought, but we knew Duncan and Parker were going to have to carry this team in order for them to stay competitive here in Minneapolis, but it's been a breakout game for Mike Miller. Ryan Gomes gets a tough basket to go here. Corey Brewer's played well in this game. Kevin Love also, who's coming back into the ball game, is also playing very well. So they brought Kevin back. He was getting ready to check in with Sebastian Telford. Sebastian came in. Kevin Love went back to the bench, but now he's coming back. He's going to check into Ryan Gomes. Great job by Ryan Gomes to get that three-point play.
Wolves back on time.
Randy's got Kevin Love on a yo-yo.
Parker in the midst of a career night. Tony lost the basketball, taken away by Minnesota. And the bounce pass left by Gomes behind Telfair. Back to the Spurs, and it's Tim Duncan finishing strong. And the Wolves on their way there, and unfortunately turn it over. Gomes out of the triple team. Brewer tried to throw it up in the direction of Ryan Gomes. Michael Finley reaches up to take it away. Gomes nearly with a steal from behind. Three-point shot rung up. Roger Mason with a dagger. Mason's got 22 off the bench. And the Spurs make it a 4-point lead. San Antonio in a dogfight tonight on the road.
I worked my magic on the judge. You're going to Sturdy Wings.
They thought community service.
We bring adults and children together.
Would be the easy way out.
What up? I don't want to take my pants off.
What? But it's turning into...
I will hit a child. I've never done that before. Let's dance.
Hard time.
No.
From Universal Pictures.
We need your help. I am not here to service you. I'm here to service these young boys.
Role Models. Rated R. Starts Friday.
Hellboy 2 on DVD. Own it November 11th.
The Great Gladiator's Pit.
where teeth gnash and tall, sweaty men wear shorts. And here are the keys that could allow you to feast your eyes on glorious sights. The Timberwolves star-studded six-pack. Oh, great edifice, tell us your secrets. Tell us your secrets. Order a six-pack at Timberwolves.com.
Our McDonald's game summary, and what a game it has been. Tim Duncan, who has been so dominant against Minnesota, started slowly actually tonight, but he's picked up steam. Tony Parker has had steam all night long, a career high 40 points in this game. Al Jefferson continues his double-double assault, his fourth of the season. And Mike Miller, 4 3-point shots dropped in tonight. As we look at our Grand Casino hustle board, and the Wolves with a big edge. Parker's previous career high was 38 against Miami back in 2006. Miller for 2, he's got it.
Lucky it wasn't a 3. I mean, because Minnesota's last 4 possessions before that, 2 3-point plays, 2 3-point shots. Mike Miller almost makes it 3 3-point shots in the last 5 possessions, but San Antonio's been amazing. They've scored on 18 of 19 possessions. Minnesota's still in the ballgame.
Roberto blocked by Kevin Love. Telfair on the break, leaves it for Randy Foyle. Tied at 97 with 3.5 to go. What a ball game we have tonight at Target Center. Great to have you with us.
Way to skinny up through that pick, Sebastian. Oh,
wiped away.
Tim Duncan moving on that screen, catches Randy Foy. Roger Mason knocks down the shot. Luckily, foul called on Tim Duncan. Let's see the sequence again with Kevin Love. The block shot sequence. Comes back from behind and blocks Alberto's shot, and it's bang, bang right up the floor. And get Randy Foy too easy, but that's the way you get it kick-started.
Miller gets out of the double team, finds Kevin Love. Love knew he had missed that shot as soon as he let it go. Duncan boxes out for the rebound.
Love needs to catch the basketball a little bit closer. They're playing way off of him.
Mason swings it to Duncan.
Oh, you got to be kidding me, Derek Stafford.
And the foul will be called on Al Jefferson.
Well, I thought he was there. Al kind of jumped up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it looked like to me he was there in plenty of time. Was Tim Duncan launching his body towards the hoop? Let's see if we can see it here. Al Jefferson's going to recognize the roll right there. Feet, heels on the half circle. Good call by Derek Stafford. Looked like to me Al was outside. Al's got to recognize that sooner. He did not need to come on that side of the basket so far. He needs to stay connected to Tim Duncan to see that.
Duncan's got it. 20 points, 10 rebounds. He has more double-doubles than anyone against the Wolves in Minnesota history. Kevin Love raked across the face as he goes after the rebound.
Again, Kevin Love not allowing himself to be boxed out and makes something happen, makes Alberto contend and deal with him. Great hustle by Love. I love guys that don't allow themselves to be boxed out on the offensive end.
Telfair turns it around after he probed underneath. And it's San Antonio basketball.
We're going to call a foul on Al Jefferson for pushing Tim Duncan in the back. Al doesn't like the call. When you're playing against the Spurs, you better be perfect. And those 2 turnovers, first one by Gomes, the next one by Brewer, were really the key to this sequence here, because you had a chance to actually take a lead the Wolves have played well, and San Antonio has been flawless. I mean, they really have been great at pick and roll game. Tim Duncan has been taking over the game here at the end.
Timberwolves have lost 10 of 11 to the Spurs in 14 of their last 17 games. The Wolves' last win against the Spurs, January 3rd, 2007. A 103-101 victory in overtime. Doesn't sound that long ago, Pete, but it was Mark Blunt that led the way with 28 points in that game. Kevin Garnett had 17 rebounds. Duncan started slow, but is finishing strong. He came into this game tied with David Robinson with 27 double-doubles all-time against Minnesota. Now Jefferson, hard off the heel. Kevin Love keeps it alive. Miller finds Randy Foye. And Randy hits.
Randy Foye.
Foye fills it up. And the Timberwolves expand to a 21-0 edge over the Spurs in second chance points. The only numbers that matter right now are on the scoreboard.
Credit Kevin Love for that basket, though. His hustle kept that one alive, diving on the floor to keep it alive.
Roberto's travels.
Roberto tries the Robert Parrish spin move on the baseline. It's called for traveling. Let's see Kevin Love's hustle at the other end. Shot goes up. They're fighting for it. Love knocks it free. Dives for it. Second effort. You got to love it. Here we go with Randy Foye. Roger Mason slips and falls down. It's kind of where the spot where Love kind of dove for the loose ball. I wonder if that's where Roger Mason kind of slipped on a little perspiration by Kevin Love.
Bowen knocks it away. Miller into the double team is able to slip past it, takes it all the way inside. Kevin Love got his hands on the basketball. And it's Minnesota ball.
Just makes things happen. I mean, how do you keep this guy at the floor? I mean, when he gets on the basketball court, he's blocking shots, he's grabbing rebounds, he's keeping the ball alive, he's making shots. Okay, this is just second of it. Doesn't, again, Alberto can't box him out. He gets inside position.
Jefferson again dealing with Tim Duncan. Big Al trying to pull his way inside. Throws it up and in. Quick spin move on the baseline, and he kisses the glass. Wolves down by a point as we close in on 1 minute remaining. Parker has an open look and misses. And there haven't been many of those tonight.
Kevin Love at inside position, and Alberto, they both tipped it. It looked like to me Kevin tipped it first, Alberto second. Randy Whitman agrees with that assessment.
Duncan misses the shot again. So Minnesota, can they take advantage of a couple unusual misses by the Spurs here in crunch time? Miller into Jefferson. Big Al working on Alberto. Big Al squeezes it in. Al Jefferson. Sensational down the stretch tonight. And the Wolves are back on top.
Tim Duncan with 4 personal fouls forces Alberto to guard Al. He's making a pay.
Parker hits. Best scoring night of Tony Parker's career. 42 points. A career high for the 26-year-old from France.
Al Jefferson's been great the last 2 possessions. Took Duncan to the woodshed 2 possessions ago, then takes Alberto to the hole again here.
Let's recap what we've seen over the last minute.
Yep. He's going to quick him right here. He's going to drop step quick him up, and not let Tim Duncan rebody him up or block the shot. Tony Parker, Sebastian Temper goes under the screen again. They've been daring Tony Parker to shoot that jumper, and he has made Minnesota pay time and time and time again. The problem is, if you over the screen and get caught up, now your defense is in trouble. You got pick and roll game. If you try to trap Tony Parker, which that's another option. I mean, obviously trapping him is another option, but then you're given the ability to stretch your defense and get pick and roll again. But he's had so many different ways to beat you. The way he's getting into the painted area, off of jump shots, 3-point shots, he's been tremendous. It's been a great night for Tony Parker. It's been fun to watch. A true professional.
Tony Parker is our Dodge player of the game. You see his numbers. Remarkable. The Timberwolves point guards have also been impressive, Pete. Collectively, 15 assists without a turnover.
That's right. They've been rock solid. I mean, Foy, 6 points, but he's hit some big shots here at the end. Sebastian Telfair, 3 of 6. A couple free throws as well. 8 points for him, 5 assists. Excuse me, 8 assists. Tremendous.
Best game for Mike Miller in a Timberwolves uniform, and it's not close.
Yep. 23 points from Mike Miller. Hustling, diving on the floor like he's done all season long for Minnesota so far. Again, diving into the stands for loose balls. Perimeter jump shooting, knocking down 3-point shots. Mike Miller in this ball game, 5 of 7 from outside the arc. Doing it all for Minnesota.
33.5 seconds left. And the Timberwolves trail by the slimmest of margins. Telfair into Love. Kevin looking for options. Finds one in Al Jefferson. Al again dealing with the double team. Kicks it out. Foy to Bassey. Bounce pass down low. Count the basket. Kevin Love. All you need is love, baby.
How is that not a foul? That's a strong move by Kevin Love, and you see Al Jefferson loving the relationship. They're really getting a great combination. That's the one, I think, Tom, that needs to happen. You got to have Love and Jefferson so aggressive and dynamic.
He may only be 20 years old and a rookie, but he's playing like a veteran here tonight.
Sebastian Telfair driving that seam's the key to that play, though. If Sebastian doesn't have that quickness to drive that seam, collapse the defense, make them come towards him. Tim Duncan doesn't step up. Strong finish by Kevin Love. And he's really shutting a lot of people up, Tom, with his ability to defend inside. We saw him block Tim Duncan in the first half, had a couple of block shots. He's been able to score inside against tall talent.
It's amazing how many doubters there have been for Kevin Love. Certainly draft time this year that felt that, you know, this is a guy that shouldn't be picked as high as he was, but he has been phenomenal thus far early in his rookie year.
He has been phenomenal, and what we've seen tonight is him expanding his game. He hit a 3-point shot. He's been taking the ball strong to the basket off the dribble drive. He's been catching it at the free throw area. It feels comfortable, but it's his second effort. It's the rebounding on the offensive end. It's his defense, you know, on the other end of the floor against bigger players that are more physical. He's just really coming into his own, Tom, and it's just a matter of time before he and Al really dominate the game at both ends of the floor.
We talked at the top about the Timberwolves offense, trouble breaking out of shooting woes. Well, Mike Miller certainly has done that here tonight. And the Timberwolves on the verge of what would be a very big win.
I saw Manu Ginobili here last year beat Minnesota on a last second shot. Thank goodness he's not in the building right now. You're one stop away.
No matter how this one ends, and we'll know in just under 18 seconds, we'll have all sorts of goodies for you in the postgame.
Ryan Gomes checks into the game for Kevin Love. 5 guys got a rebound now. No second shot attempts.
Parker will go to work. Tony lost the basketball. Corey Brewer's there defensively. Parker throws it up short, and Al Jefferson grabs the rebound and pumps his fists. Timberwolves with the ball and the lead. 9 seconds left.
It's not over yet. You got to hit 2 free throws. It's still a 3-point game at that point. They got plenty of 3-point shooters on the floor. Finley, Bowen, obviously Roger Mason and Tony Parker can hit 3-point shots. But how about the second effort by Corey Brewer? He thought about diving for the loose ball. He did actually dive for it, but Tony Parker went to the basket. Corey got back into the shot. He really did a great job of contesting that floater by Tony Parker.
Big Al now 3 of 6 at the line tonight.
And Udoka comes back into the ball game for Bruce Bowen here. So Bowen's a good 3-point shooter, but they feel like Udoka's better.
San Antonio 7th in the NBA in 3-point shooting. Al gets the second.
Plenty of time for the Spurs. 9 seconds is an eternity. And is there any question what the San Antonio Spurs are going to do? They're going to put Tony Parker into a pick and roll situation and let him decide. Is he going to try to tie the game up with a dribble drive penetration into the hoop by trying to get it, an easy one for himself? Is he going to stop behind the screen and try to hit a jump shot? He's got three-point shooters on the floor. Do they try to go for the win on the road right now? Obviously, all options are open, but if you're an experienced team like the Spurs, you feel comfortable going into an overtime period. But you know, it's Tony Parker. This is one of the great performances we've seen in this building, Tom. I mean, 42 points for Parker on 17 of 26, 10 assists. He's gotten his teammates better. 5 rebounds to go along with those 10 assists. You know, just really a phenomenal game. You see the timeout situation for both teams, each having a 20 left. Let's see if the Spurs leave any time on the clock, too. If they should score, that's also an option for Minnesota.
Last season, it was Manu Ginobili. A season-high 44 points in a win against the Timberwolves, and he hit the game winner with 6 seconds left. Wolves trying to hold out and break through against one of the best teams in basketball. Michael Finley side out. Mason. Bounce pass to Duncan. Timmy held up momentarily by Al Jefferson, and then Tim Duncan calmly and coolly sinks the shot. So we're tied at 106 with 2.7 left.
It's pretty good options. You know, you got Tony Parker, who's been so incredible. You got Tim Duncan, who's so clutch in those kind of shots. I mean, he's so good. And see it again. Roger Mason handles. They kind of, Greg Popovich kind of goes away from what you thought conventionally what he might do, but you know, Duncan off the glass is always a good option for yourself, and he's so good at shooting that jump hook down with that that left shoulder turn, right hand jump hook. Amazing player. You know, the conversation about who is the greatest power forward of all time. Tim Duncan's in the conversation, but boy, it's so clutch. And what does Minnesota do here now with 2.7? There's still a lot of time left. And obviously, you have enough time to throw it down to Al, let him go to work, try to get fouled. And he can score and spin so quickly, that's a good option. You also have Mike Miller coming off the screen as well, who can shoot it. But, boy, 2.7, you have enough time to get it to Al and let him go to work.
We're about to find out whether the Wolves can pull off their biggest win of this early season. And Randy Foye turns it over, just the 8th turnover tonight for the Wolves, and you see the reaction from Randy Wittman.
Mike Miller couldn't get open. Bruce Bowen was bodying him up. Bruce Bowen was completely denying Mike Miller the basketball. It was difficult. Randy Foye has to get rid of the basketball. See Bowen bodying it. That's a foul. He's grabbing Mike Miller around the waist. Mike Miller just crossed him up. You know, Randy thought Mike was going to go to the open spot. Mike was sort of stagnant, didn't really get to an open spot at all for him.
So now the Spurs with the basketball and 2 seconds to work with. And the knowledge that overtime will follow if they're not able to hit. San Antonio 55% from the floor in this game. You see Randy Foye still pained about that turnover.
Bulls haven't turned it over often, only 8 times, but the ones they've done have been really, really hurtful.
Well, let's see if this will cost them. Finley again. Holds it high. Gets it to Tony Parker. Parker for 3 at the buzzer. It was that close. Well, the last time the Timberwolves beat Greg Popovich and the Spurs, they needed overtime to do so. Same situation tonight. Bonus basketball at Target Center.
Well, there's a lot of teams I could think of who I wouldn't want to see in overtime, but San Antonio is definitely one of the teams I do want to see in overtime against Minnesota. The Duncan-Al Jefferson matchup. Sebastian Telfair has been really good matching up with Tony Parker just in terms of the speed of the game. It's been fun. Tony Parker has obviously been taking everybody in Minnesota to the woodshed.
Well, for a preview of Quest Wolves Live, let's swing it over to Anthony LaPanta.
Guys, after you're done working overtime, Quest Wolves Live from inside NBA City Restaurant will also be hitting the floor at the Target Center. Sean Elliott and Jim Peterson for an instructional segment. We'll talk about a couple of huge individual performances. Tony Parker for San Antonio and Mike Miller for Minnesota. And as always, we hear from the head coach, Randy Whitman. That's all following the game on Quest Wolves Live.
Anthony, thanks so much. What a game it has been. Hope you're enjoying it. We certainly have. Just a great basketball game, Pete.
It really has been. You know, it's been, for the most part, really well played. It was kind of a defensive struggle early on. Both teams knotted up at 18 after the first period, but the Wolves exploded for 31 points in that second quarter. It's not, you know, it's just really, it's been fun. It's been fun to watch Tony Parker. It's been fun to watch this Wolves team grow. Mike Miller, Randy Foy's played well. You know, they've been some really great performances. Al Jefferson with 22 and 13. Kevin Love with 14 and 6. We're seeing this team grow, and against a great basketball team, obviously without Manu Ginobili, but even still, they're still the Spurs.
You know, they say in the NBA, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. Tonight closes out the first of 18 back-to-backs for the San Antonio Spurs. And 3 times this season, the Spurs will meet the Timberwolves on the back end of a back-to-back, which in most cases give Minnesota at least a slight advantage.
Let's see if, you know, them playing last night and playing a tough game against the Dallas Mavericks, which they lost on their home floor, and having to travel all the way up from San Antonio to Minneapolis, now playing overtime, affects San Antonio, especially Parker, who's played so many minutes, 41 minutes for Parker.
San Antonio is the #1 record in the NBA the last 12 years. They have won over 70% of their games. And of course, the reason for that, the primary reason, is Tim Duncan.
Now quick jumped him that time, and they're going to give San Antonio the basketball. And I was kind of having a little laugh with Tim Duncan about that. He's like, trying to quick jump me, huh? Okay.
Great respect between those two. Tony Parker floats it into Duncan. Timmy facing up on Al Jefferson. Al staying low, hands up, and Duncan misses the shot. Rebound Mike Miller, who's fouled immediately.
Bruce Bowen picks up the foul on Mike Miller. Mike Miller's a pretty good rebounder. He gets in there and gets dirty. He doesn't mind. He's been doing a lot of dirty work in this ball game.
4th personal on Bowen.
Al Jefferson has 3 fouls. No one else in the starting lineup has more than 2. Sebastian Telfair does have 5.
Telfair playing for the first time this season. First time since last March 7th. Miller finds an open spot, connects it to 2. Doesn't matter. Mike Miller now with 25 points.
It's always nice to get the first basket in overtime.
Mason loads up the long ball, won't go. Jefferson, his 14th rebound tonight.
Mason certainly hasn't missed much from outside the arc. It's the first miss from outside the arc. He's been so good in this game, and one of the reasons why the Spurs are in this position.
The veteran Mike Miller to the rookie, who hands it off on the corner to Corey Brewer.
You know what I love about Corey Brewer's game tonight is that he's not been fazed by a few misses. He has looked so much more confident. Those 2 baskets he got earlier in the 4th quarter, cutting to the hole.
Parker with the teardrop won't go. Duncan battling for the rebound. He's got it. Knocked away by Al Jefferson. Duncan recovers. Out to Mason. And the Spurs will reset. Duncan battling inside. The double team rising up to stop the shot, but San Antonio gets it right back. Parker for three, no. Kevin Love has the rebound.
Wow, the defense for Minnesota has been outstanding. Al Jefferson, Kevin Love, both challenging Tim Duncan. Anybody that says Al Jefferson can't defend the post better get those two possessions for San Antonio against San Antonio, and watching him D up Tim Duncan. Beautiful.
Tony Parker has missed his last 5 shots. Jefferson on the baseline, rattles out. Tim Duncan and Kevin Love battling for the loose ball. Let's look at Minnesota's defensive stand.
Al Jefferson poking at that loose ball. He's got a couple strips tonight, doing a good job of getting low. Kevin Love coming from the weak side, 25 and 42, getting it done. Think about Kevin Love, and this is one of the things that Kevin McHale and I talked about with Kevin Love. Tremendous help side defender. He plugs up pick and roll situations, knows when to come, when not to come. He's got a really just great feel for being a weak side defender in this concept.
Parker fouled as he makes his way to the basket. Minnesota with an 8-1 advantage in block shots, and Kevin Love has 4 of them.
They gave that last one to Kevin Love, but I thought it was Al's block. Doesn't matter though. 8-1 advantage. Take that all day long. Hustle points. Minnesota's up 55-42.
Parker into Duncan, throws it right back, and Tim Duncan, like he was limping, is not. Parker spinning in the paint, throws it in. And Corey Brewer looks dejected after Tony Parker put on a remarkable display. Parker now with 44 points.
The magician.
Bowen knocks it off the knee of Mike Miller. It's ruled. Just the 9th turnover of the game. Kevin McHale directing things from his seat. Under 2 minutes. Mason to Duncan. Back out to Bowen. Parker makes his move with 6 seconds in the shot clock.
You gotta be kidding.
Out of bounds. San Antonio ball. 3 seconds remain on the shot clock. Finley misses from the corner, but the offensive board back to the Spurs. Tony Parker. Duncan bowling inside out to Mason. Mason is fouled by Telfair.
That's going to be his 6th personal foul if that's on Telfair.
It seems like an endless possession for the Spurs here in overtime. Bassi has fouled out. Sebastian Telfair in his first game back this season, 8 points, 10 assists, 3 rebounds, and not a single turnover. All of that in 31 minutes. Randy Foy will replace Bassi. Mason has not missed from the line this season. The first second chance points of the night for San Antonio.
Minnesota has 23. That's pretty amazing. How can that possibly be their first second chance point for the San Antonio Spurs right now? This guy don't miss. Career 87% free throw shooter.
So retied at 110. Overtime here at Target Center. The Spurs still in a battle for their first one of the season. Jefferson one-hands it. Kevin Love pushes it up and in, but they're going to wipe it away.
Why isn't it a good basket? I mean, he's tipping the basketball at the same time he's getting fouled.
Another look.
Al It's the floater to just rim out right here. Alberto is holding down Kevin Love before he actually taps the basketball.
So a new shot clock for the Wolves. Miller motioning Love over. And traveling is called on Randy Foy. 10 turnovers tonight. And 2 very costly ones here in the last few minutes by Randy. Bowen back in, replacing Roberto. Parker, 18 of 30 tonight. Duncan. And quite a fight all night long with Al Jefferson, and Timmy Duncan gives San Antonio a 6-0 run. And more importantly, puts them up by 2 with 51.5 seconds left.
Tim Duncan, right box post up right here. It's been spent really an even amount of time on both sides of the floor. And right, you see, turns right shoulder, uses the right hand over the top, so much bigger than Al. That's what I'm saying about Duncan. He's so methodical. You know, just takes his time. He's quick when he needs to be, but for the most part, he's probing. He's dribbling into the paint, crab dribble into the painted area, and if you double team him, he's willing to kick it back out. But if you don't, he's going to get right in front of the basket. And that's the genius of Tim Duncan. He just takes his time, and that's, you know, for young players' time when they're learning how to play in the post, you got to relax and you got to take your time and don't go too fast. And read the defense, read how the defense is playing you and where the help side's coming from.
Speaking of young players, Kevin Love certainly has been a major factor for the Timberwolves in this battle tonight.
He's been fun to watch, and he's not back down from Tim Duncan. He's, you know, right there, his body's up right there, sticks with it. Got a block shot on this one right here, gets the hook shot right in the neck, stays with it again, gets the block shot. It's been really a gross night for Kevin Love. Now, to play against one of your heroes, it's really great. And let's see some of the offensive game, too. He takes Kurt Thomas right off the glass. That was his first basket of the ball game. He got the mismatch, you know, and they brought in Michael Finley to play against him. And the dunk right on top of Tim Duncan again. The growth of Kevin Love has been something to see.
Great to have you with us tonight. High definition coverage of Timberwolves basketball on Fox Sports North. 51.5 seconds left. And I think Kevin Love's intensity says a lot about who he is. Very high basketball IQ, extremely coachable. He continues to learn on the fly. Mike Miller to Jefferson, and Big Al is fouled immediately by Roger Mason.
You know, the way they blew the whistle, it wouldn't have amazed me if they would have called travel. It looked like Al kind of shuffled his feet a little bit when Mason came over and fouled him.
Third on Mason, who has 24 off the bench. Roger Mason's career high came last year in Washington when he scored 32 points. Target center goes silent as Al steps up the line. Almost a, dare I say, playoff atmosphere. I know it's only 4 games into the season, but this is a very big battle for both teams.
When you're 1-2 for Minnesota and 0-3 for San Antonio, it is. You don't want to start out the season like that.
Well, Jefferson does his job, retying the game at 1:12. Now we've got a 20-second timeout. 43.7 seconds left.
This is the kind of game, Tom, that's way more gut-wrenching for us watching it than it is for the players to play in it. When you're in it, it's more fun, it's more competitive. You know, you're in the game, and you know, obviously, you know, you want to win the ball game. And when you're in it, you're not as tied to the emotions. You know, we're wondering how it's all going to end, and you know, you and I are sitting over here having to broadcast this game, and we're pulling for the Wolves to pull it out. But when you're living and dying with each possession, when you're playing against the Spurs, you just feel like you're up against it because they feel like they have the answers to the test already, you know? Yep. And you're having to take it flat, you know? But Tim Duncan and Tony Parker just have been, how many times have they been in these kinds of scenarios with Greg Popovich? Bruce Bowen, the same thing. Michael Finley to a lesser extent.
Don't forget, immediately following this game, Quest Wolves Live. Highlights, interviews, all sorts of interesting things. I see that Sean Elliott, you had a chance to talk to him, and
obviously it's predicated on him being able to join us. But Sean's a good friend, and you know he's a great guy. He's going to come over and hopefully join us. We're going to talk about Tony Parker a little bit and pick and roll situations. But Sean never played with Tony Parker. His career ended when Tony started. He's watched him his whole career.
Duncan turns around, does not go off the glass, and Tim slapping his hands together, frustrated at missing the shot.
Take your time, get the shot you want.
Mike Miller rises up, in and out. And Tim Duncan grabs the basketball, but what's the call?
Corey Brewer is going for the basketball. They're going to call it on Roger Mason. And that's Corey Brewer hustling after it. Both Al Jefferson and Corey hustled. Corey got the foul call. You can see Roger Mason pushed Corey Brewer right in the back. Let's see if we can see it here. Shot goes up by Mike Miller. Corey doesn't allow himself to get boxed up, goes to the hole, and there's the push.
And Brewer sells it well. Corey Brewer. Remains perfect at the line.
Great job, Corey. You played a great game. You had a tough matchup with Tony Parker. You accepted it. You know, in the 44 that Tony Parker has against him isn't really telling the story of what a great job Corey did, just contending with that, you know, time and time again down the floor, the pick and roll situations.
Brewers got them both.
Hey, you don't win two national championships and not be able to make free throws at the end of game situation.
Most outstanding player for Florida in the NCAA title game a couple years ago.
Boy, I can breathe a little easier right now.
Not for long, though.
Well, you know, you'd much rather be in this situation, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, you find yourself in these situations, you just say, boy, we just are one stop away now from getting it. Now, we were in the same situation before, and Al, if he would have hit both free throws, Minnesota would have had a 3-point lead. He hit one of two, Minnesota had a 2-point lead. They came down and tied it. And now you're in a situation again. Now you got a 2-point lead. You're one stop away. And then if you get fouled, you got to make it a two-possession game. That's ultimately how Randy Whitman would like this to end. It
will come down to defense from Minnesota, and they have played so well at that end of the court all night long. 15.3 left. And the Timberwolves on top by 2. Ime Udoka looking for options, finds a good one in Roger Mason.
Roger Mason handled it last time. They went Tim Duncan right box post up.
Finley makes a move to the middle. Back to Duncan. And Timmy is fouled.
Well, the last time it was almost exactly the same thing that happened, except Duncan kissed it off the glass to tie it up. And then Minnesota had 2.7 left. Randy Foye threw it to Bruce Bowen, and then that was that. And then, you know, San Antonio misses to go to overtime. But Duncan has struggled to line, but not so much tonight. 4 or 5 for Timmy tonight.
Duncan 60% at the line heading into this game this season. Al Jefferson was waving his hands to try to get the crowd going, and officials turned to him and said, you can't do that.
Got to get a rebound here. Kevin Love comes into the game for Ryan Gomes. Benicio Alberto comes in for Ime Udoka. Alberto's in that second slot, bodied up with Corey Brewer, trying to get in there and rebound the basketball. That's the way you should do it. You see how Alberto's kind of angled off there, trying to offensive rebound it. That's great technique.
Duncan's got them both, and we're tied. 1:14 with 7.4 to go. Back and forth we have gone all night long.
Well, one of the things about conceiving a play where Mike Miller's involved with Bruce Bowen catching him is that catching the basketball is that Bruce Bowen is such a great defender. He's always kind of a fly in the ointment that way. So we'll see if Randy Whitman goes back that way or goes a different way. 7.4 again is an eternity. You just don't want to give San Antonio another shot at it. Minnesota threw it away last time, gave him 2 seconds. They could have easily scored, but it's either overtime again, double overtime, or else Minnesota wins the game. You do not want to leave any time left on the clock.
Last night at home against Dallas, following that 98-81 loss, Tim Duncan reassured Roger Mason Jr. after the game that, yep, the Spurs actually do win every now and again. Just didn't seem that way.
The difference between Tom last 2.7 at the end of regulation on this one is that Minnesota does have another timeout to burn should Randy Foye be under duress. Mike Miller was on the block last time coming up on a down screen. Got him at the top of the key this time.
Foye again. This time gets it into the hands of Mike Miller. To Al Jefferson. Big Al turns it around, puts it down. Al Jefferson hits the biggest shot of the night with 2.5 seconds left here in overtime.
You know,
the beast with a beauty.
Tom, you know what? The thing about since the beginning of the fourth quarter on, when all these different possessions have happened and some of the things, the turnovers, Al has been going to the bench just livid. He's so competitive. He wants to win. He wills this one in the basket. And, you know, what I love about his game, this is one of the things for me that I love about Al. He goes to the middle of the floor. He's not fading baseline. He's not going away. He's going towards the middle of the floor, right-hand jump hook to his basic. And just amazing. How about the bench reaction? Kevin Love, Craig Smith, and Kevin McHale, who has put this team together. An exciting basketball team full of young, great players. Loves it, too. His wife, Lynn, next to him. It's been an exciting game, guys. We've got so much to enjoy. Corey Brewer, you've been clutch, my man. Big free throws, some big shots. It seems like we started this game about 5 hours ago,
but it's been good all night long. 2.5 seconds left here in overtime.
You know, if you lose this game, if you're San Antonio, you kind of just move on. You realize you've got Ginobili coming back. You're a veteran team. You realize you can win big stretches and swap. I mean, you can have, 12, 13 wins months. Minnesota, though, if they were to win this game, it means so much more to them, being a young team trying to find themselves to win this basketball game than it does in San Antonio. That being said, San Antonio is going to try to do everything they can to win this game.
San Antonio out of timeouts. They'll be back home on Friday, their next game against Miami. Oh, it comes down to this again. Udoka gets it to Tony Parker. Parker rises up and hits the shot. Tony Parker at the buzzer. 46 points tonight, and Parker forces a second overtime.
If you're Corey Brewer, you got to laugh, and that's what he's doing. What are you going to do? I mean, come on, that's a ridiculous shot.
Tony Parker has been ridiculous all night long.
I got to talk to our producer, Trevor Fleck, and the good folks at Fox Sports North. I don't think I'm going to have the energy to do a demo after the game.
Well, they're going to review it, and we'll review it, as the officials do. Definitely got it off well in time, and it's good.
Part of the problem is that, when Tony Parker comes around that screen, Corey Brewer kind of overruns the play a little bit, which gave Parker the space to be able to catch it and turn around and shoot. He did get up and contest the shot, but, running past Parker and allowing him to catch was a problem. Man, it's one of the great performances I've seen in the last 10 years. I mean, this has been really, really great. Without some of their main pieces, Ginobili. Let's see if we can see that play one more time. I just want to, just for my own edification here, just see how this play was played. See, watch Corey come around that screen, and his momentum took him past Parker. Just a great play. I mean, Corey just laughs. What are you going to do?
Wolves coaching staff, J.B. Bickerstaff leading the way to get to Corey rather quickly and give him a pat on the behind and say, like, we got to move on. We got to put this away and move on for 5 more minutes of basketball. Double overtime. And it's been a while since the Wolves last were involved in a double overtime game. Well, Mike Miller should have a smile on his face because he has produced an outstanding basketball game and really led his teammates, not only in his shooting, but his hustle, his diving for balls, his rebounding. He has showed the type of leadership I think the Wolves were hoping for when they picked him up on draft day last June.
46 minutes in the game for Tony Parker, 43 for Tim Duncan. Roger Mason's also played 40. Tim Duncan has 5 fouls, by the way, which is something to keep in mind. But let's see the Tony Parker pack here, because 19 of 31, squeezing the trigger 31 times for Tony Parker. And boy, has he been efficient. Their offense was amazing in the second half, how they were scoring possession after possession. You know, I don't think any of these highlights, any one of them is the same. I mean, he's got 19 field goal makes, and they're all different in the way he does it, whether it's going to the basket, whether it's stopping behind the pick and shooting it, backing up, taking Corey Brewer on a spin dribble to the hole layup. I mean, it's just the different shots that he's been able to show Minnesota tonight. It's been amazing.
This is the Wolves' first double overtime game since February 6th of 2007. They played back-to-back double overtime games against Boston, and then the Lakers had 3 double overtime games that season. Kevin Love stopped the first time and kept going. Ultimately shut down by the Spurs. Parker up the middle, floats it home. Tony Parker heading towards 50 tonight. Just 2 points away.
I'm surprised they haven't done more to trap him and make him give the basketball up. They've been pretty much doing whatever he wants to do.
Brewer steps in short. And of course, the short shot took Kevin Love out of the play. So he was deep on the block. Parker. Unstoppable. Tony Parker, 50 points tonight. He has surpassed his career high by a dozen. He is the 5th player to score 50 against Minnesota in Timberwolves history. Al Jefferson makes it a 2-point game. Wolves simply have not had an answer for number 9. Now, Mason in and out, loose ball to Randy Foy.
Just like when you double team low post players, though, you got to give great point guards a different look too sometimes.
Randy Foy for 3, no. Kevin Love tips the rebound, but he was held as he tried to push it away. And
Tim Duncan had him by the shoulder.
And Love waving his hand at the officials. Kevin's got the rebound. That's his 9th tonight. Foy on the baseline. Feeds the big man. Al Jefferson. We're tied at 120. Big Al with 30 points.
That'll build some confidence for Randy. It's a nice play. 9 assists for Randy Foy in his game.
Parker sneaking up the middle again. Bounce pass. Roberto kicked outside, and yep, Roger Mason has done it again. Mason with 26 off the bench. Parker with 50. Duncan with 28. Mason with 26. The dominant three for San Antonio tonight. Big Al goes up. Finley skies for the board. San Antonio played last night in Dallas, but they have showed no signs of wearing down. Tony Parker again! Off the glass and in. Tony Parker has produced a remarkable night. 52 points on 22 of 35 accuracy. Tony Parker supplanted Mark Oberding of Melrose, Minnesota, as the youngest player to ever play for the Spurs when he joined them. And he's just gotten better and better and better. 26 years of age in his 8th NBA season.
I just think that at some point you got to get the ball out of Tony Parker's hands. I mean, he's proven to you now, I think after 22 field goals makes, that he's pretty much got a hot hand tonight. And, to make someone else beat you. Now, Roger Mason has been shooting lights out. He's 9 of 16. And Tim Duncan is 11 of 25. But, man, I mean, 52 points. I mean, this is just an amazing, amazing performance by Tony Parker.
Let's go back to NBA City and Anthony LaPanta.
Well, Tom, you mentioned that he's the 5th visiting player to score 50 against 5th opposing player to score 50 against Minnesota. He's now just 1 point shy of the all-time record for a Timberwolves opponent. Shaquille O'Neal back in 1994 scored 53 against the Wolves. So Parker's name now number 2 on that all-time list. We'll take a closer look at his big night in our postgame show. And we'll also take a look at a big night for a couple of the big guns from Minnesota. Al Jefferson and Mike Miller have had big nights. And of course, we'll hear from Randy Whitman. Hit the floor for our postgame instructional. All that's coming up after the game on Quest Wolves Live.
Anthony, thanks so much. Looking forward to it. I don't know what else you can say about the night that young man has produced. 2 years ago, earned his 2nd All-Star invitation, won the NBA Finals, was the Finals MVP, and married Ava Longoria. Pretty good year.
He's been having a real good year, isn't he? Jeez. Tony Parker, wow, what an amazing night it's been for him. Breathtaking, really. I mean, it's kind of been nullifying some great performances by Minnesota.
Just a 4-point game. Al Jefferson in the midst of something special himself. Randy Foye lets it fly and hits it. It's a 2-point shot.
It's the worst shot in basketball, though, a long two like that. You got to get your foot behind that line, but it's still a basket for Randy Foye, which I love.
Back to a one-possession game. Don't look away for a second here. Down the stretch. Forced inside. Duncan mops it up and puts it in. Tim Duncan puts San Antonio back by 4. And Tim Duncan now has 30 points and 15 rebounds. Into the big man, Al Jefferson. Al, the triple team, kicks it out to Randy Foye for 3 this time.
Now he got that foot behind the line. That's a shot. Way to go, Randy Foye. I'm proud of you.
Greg Popovich screaming at his players while Randy Foye is hugged by his teammates. A 1-point game with 35 seconds and change to go.
Well, you see, they're trying to rotate over to Randy, but, when Al Jefferson's been so dynamic, double team comes, and now the extra pass made by Ryan Gomes. Michael Finley can't quite get there. And, he's not going to shoot the ball that great, so why come and try to contest it quickly? Again, Alberto gets there again. Randy Foye, nobody there that time to rotate over to Foye. I can't tell you how proud I am of Randy Foye, who's one of my favorite guys in this league. Just a great person. And when he struggles, we all struggle with him, because we're all in this together, And so 3 of 24 over the last 2 ball games to come into this game now and to have, get other guys involved. 9 assists, 11 points, 5 of them in the last 2 possessions. It's just great. We're all happy for him, but still, you still got work to do. You're still down by 1. Got to keep it rolling.
Even through the difficulty, Randy Foye has remained quietly confident in himself. You talked about earlier tonight when you're going through a shooting slump, you have one of two situations. Either everybody has advice or everybody leaves you alone.
And you're on an island somewhere. Or else, everybody's sitting there in your ear. And, I was saying, too, is that even when you go to the grocery store, when you're running an errand, you're just thinking about it because people are looking at you like, boy, I wish you'd hit a shot once in a while. And, they may not even be thinking that, but you're thinking they are, and it gets into your head. But, these shooting slumps end, and everybody goes through them, and he's no different, but it's just great to see him hit these two big shots and have the confidence to take it.
Tony Parker's 52 points is the most scored in Target Center, surpassing David Robinson's 50.
You don't see two players combined for 82 points very often. Tim Duncan,
no.
Tony Parker. Throw in Roger Mason's 26.
Wolves need a stop. Parker rises up. Won't drop.
Tim Duncan taps it right to Roger Mason.
Finley lines up the long ball. That won't go. Mason with another offensive board. Time winding down. And then the foul whistled on Minnesota.
Still got a foul to give, but now you got to foul intentionally to be able to make it, obviously you got to get them to the free throw line to get a possession back here. Boy, two opportunities to get a rebound.
San Antonio only had 6 offensive rebounds prior to that possession. They get a couple huge ones. Brewer picks up the foul. 19 seconds left here in the second overtime. Fans, many of them still on their feet. Others sitting down just through exhaustion of watching a game that has been compelling from the very beginning. Tony Parker continues to pile them up now with 53 points. Make it 54. And a 20-second timeout is whistled for the Timberwolves with 19 seconds left. Most remarkable scoring performance against the Timberwolves ever. You have seen it tonight in high definition here on Fox Sports North. Well, lots of time. It's only a 3-point game. Randy Whitman trying to figure out a way to win this one. But no matter how it finishes, Randy Whitman will walk away knowing that there were some phenomenal performances on his side.
See this game reset there. Foul to give for San Antonio. I still think you can play the foul game. You got a foul timeout left, so you can try to get a quick 2 here and then foul San Antonio, and hopefully you can foul someone other than Tony Parker or Roger Mason, because those two guys